We are live. Well, I think we're live. We're live at the Sunday session. What's going on, people? Welcome back. I hope you're all excited. We got a bunch of people in the chat already. We got Nemed Phoenix saying "Hey up." We got Zach Foss saying "What's up" and Alex Bow saying "Hey, hey everyone, how are you?" Midge, say hello.
Hello. I hope you're.
This is Midge, everyone, and for those of you that are unacquainted with Midge. What is that sound?
I have the Sunday set. It's the Sunday sessions on my.
Well, you can mute it and then you can read the chat at the same time.
Cool. Yeah, I've never done this before, so I'm like.
Oh, it's your first one.
It's my first time doing live anything.
We got David Peace and N Clemente that all say hey. So, Midge, introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about your background in magic and mentalism, and let's keep it like 30 seconds so that we can just jump straight into the fun stuff.
So, my name is Midge, and I decided to start doing mentalism like 5 or 6 years ago after a steep background in card magic. And since then, I've published a few things and worked a tiny bit of material. And now, when professionally I get booked to do anything, I do mentalism. It's really as short as I can make that.
Okay. So when you but there's always different styles to every facet of magic, mentalism, stage. When we say mentalism, is there any type of mentalism that you specify in or like to specify in? And by the way, King OK in the chat says, "Hey, am I late?" No. King OK, no. You're bang on time, my friend.
Specifically, I really like propless mentalism, although I don't like the failure rate. So I try and do a weird thing where you try and put props into your mentalism, but make it feel as mental, like propless as possible. So it's kind of like this little bit of a counterintuitive way of going about it, but it works if I think you do it correctly.
Okay.
So in other words, everyone's like, but you have a billet, but there's billetless name guesses and stuff. I'm like, it doesn't matter. They shouldn't think the billet is part of it anyway. So why not just work with the billet and turn it into something, So
you have the billet as for example, a billet as an out?
You can.
With your prop, I mean, like not as an out, but like to protect you from a failure with a propless piece.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you are using a billet, there's no reason to keep drawing attention to it, generally. So you find a way of performing it as if the billet doesn't matter. It's just there as confirmation in the end that you got the thing right. They're not just agreeing with you. Yeah. For example.
What sort of effect would that be for?
I really like using a living and dead test. But I don't perform it as a living and dead. I perform it as Desire from Phil Goldstein's Blue Book of Mentalism. Like it's Prism. I think it's actually literally, if you have Prism, I think it's the first effect in Prism. It's Max Maven. And it's a living and dead test where they pick countries they like or countries they visited versus countries they want to visit. So you don't go down that road of think of a dead guy, and it's a bit, at least in a commercial setting or if you're out and about, it's not really the vibe you want to go for. Can you just think of your dead aunt for me? Great. You don't want that.
Think your dead aunt for me, and please stop jerking off. Just by the way, I'm not being rude. I'm trying to put out a post, and I'm tagging you in that post. So I'm just multitasking to get people into the stream. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do this earlier, and I was going to post it or share it, but clearly one of us isn't as organized as the other.
I've done it now. I've just posted about it so that you are truly live. Oh, I hope my dog doesn't go crazy like that the whole way. Okay, wow, okay. Chat is going off. Alex Bo said, "You're smashing the subscribers, Lloyd." Dude, thank you so much, man. I got like 2,500 in the last 28 days, which I don't know how on earth that's happened, but yeah, hopefully 10K in the next month. It's not going to happen.
Dude, I really want to see that for you. Like, that would be so sick.
It's so strange.
8.5 at the moment, so no, but it's deserved. Fuck it, it's deserved.
But it's just, I just don't know how that's happening. Like, I don't know why they're growing. I mean, I'm making a couple of videos a week, and then it's not like it takes me like about 45 minutes to make a video from start to, like, I film it, takes like half an hour, 20 minutes, and then the edit's always really quick because it's just snip the ends off, and then drop. But then, I don't know, it seems to work. Anyway, enough about me. Thirsty Juggernaut said, woohoo, made it to a live session. Always have to rewatch. And King OK says, oh, Rich Relish is in the chat. And Rich, I was supposed to get to you this week. I will call and explain why I was so busy last week. But I actually have the thing, and I'll cover the name here, that I'm most excited about. Rich showed me something, and it's brilliant. And we're hopefully putting it out as a Murphy's Mentalism piece.
Rich, okay, I want to hear about this afterwards. But Rich is the one that got you onto the what was it, the Blackpool,
the podcast live. Yeah, Rich Relish suggested we do the podcast live, and
brilliant suggestion.
Rich actually lives like I don't know, 20 minutes away from my house, and we met up not so long ago. And actually, you and Rich would have really good jam sessions because he's fucking brilliant. But there's 2 questions coming in already, which are great. So, Thirsty Juggernaut says, picked up a nail writer today, covering that today. So, do you do any work with a nail writer?
I've never done any work on a nail writer, ever,
No.
Truth be told. The only work that I've done really with mentalism props, or like mentalism specific props, are things like envelopes and flapless envelopes and window envelopes, and then peak wallets and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I never, it's not dissing the method, it's just I've never seen why I would personally incorporate it. Like, none of the effects that I've performed needed one, so I almost never explored it in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I haven't used a nail writer before because I like to do mentalism stuff. I do magic, but I like to do mentalism quite a lot more than anything else than these days for performance things. But there's certain moments in my magic life that sort of define what I perform and do, and everything I think about magic now. And I remember. Do you remember there was the Masked Magician on TV, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was the Street Magic Reveal TV show, which was another guy in a mask. And this guy but it was like only a half-covered mask. Do you remember this? And he had a beard, and he went around and he exposed everything from a David Blaine special. And it was like cigarette through coin, and I don't know, guys, can you remember this? And I would love to know who that guy actually was, but he exposed like everything. And one of the things he exposed was the nail writer. And I remember going to college because I was studying back then. And seeing, so this is kind of creepy, but I remember I went into my class at lunchtime to do a video edit, ironically, and there was a table of people from a different class sitting having their lunch, and they were talking about that magic show, and they all were talking about the things they said, and like I think he did Healed and Sealed on there, and they were like, oh yeah, how that worked, and it was so fascinating to me, and I like literally just. I don't remember what video I edited, but I remember everything about their conversation. I was 16, I'm 33 now, so that was 17 years ago, right? And I remember the one thing they said was like, oh yeah, and then there's the trick where they guess the number, and then they were like, yeah, but I knew that one anyway. I've seen people doing that where they put the pencil under their nail and do it. I remember thinking, fuck, like these are 16-year-old kids, totally unimpressed, not by the revelation of the secret. They were unimpressed because they already knew the secret. And I thought, no matter how hard I try, I probably won't be able to convince people of doing that well. Even though probably I could there's a million ways to do it convincingly and to cover up the method. I just felt like I felt like it was it stopped me from exploring it further. And I think it's so powerful now that there's a lot more to it.
To halfway counterpoint that, like just playing the devil's advocate, Ozzy Wind has, that Ozzy Wind chair test with the check at the very end?
Yes.
That incorporates a nail writer somewhere in the method, and I never would have guessed it. Like the effect is so clean and it's so brilliant that I was just kind of like, oh, like I actually took a step back and went, maybe nail writers are a good idea.
Yeah, I think every method is exactly like every method is good. And when used correctly is deceptive and potentially the best method for the job. I just remember like the basic thing that I'm saying is that like I've heard bits and pieces over like my magic life that have stopped me or have made me go back and think. But let's catch up with some of these comments. So,
Nemed said something hilarious. Like I loved everything that he said.
well, the comments are flying in, so I'm going to try and we try to keep on top of them. Midge, this is from Rich. He says, do you usually perform close-up or parlor, etc.?
I usually perform close-up in kind of social situations, and occasionally if I'm gigging, it's more corporate. But I prefer that whole intimate setting and that feeling of it being spontaneous.
Yeah.
Because we all know, like, if we're performing, we all know that when you walk up to a group, they're probably not thinking they're going to see magic. They're probably not going to think what the routines are. And I kind of like that it almost feels random, but it isn't. So when you actually get into the flow state of performing, they're impressed, they're happy. And I like that thing of, you don't, like when you go to watch a film and you're like, oh my God, that was better than I could have imagined. I like bringing that feeling because they don't know it's going to happen. They don't know the effects. They probably didn't think they were going to meet a magician on the day.
Yeah.
And I love that idea. I think it's so cool. Whereas parlor has its place and I really want to try it out, but I've never done parlor or stage really.
I've done a tiny bit of like stage / parlor here and there. I did a TEDx talk. I did some stuff.
You did
on
it
there.
too?
Yeah. I don't know why I do things like it was more like I got invited to do it. I never would have done it, but it was I was going through like a formative year, and I was like, whatever I get asked to do, because I turn everything down. I turn down like interviews, I turn down lectures everywhere, and I was like, no, whatever I get asked to do this year, I'm gonna do. And then I said that to myself in like the March, and I think the April, the first thing that came in was like, hey, want to do a TEDx talk? And I was like, nope, fuck, okay, gotta do it. Okay.
I'm gonna look for that.
Alex Bow, will I do any more live podcasts? Yes, every week. Live podcasts. Okay, so the podcast might be going on tour because after we did it at Blackpool, apparently it was good. Now I quite openly say that it was a car crash. It was like people went to look at the dead bodies on the floor and the legs and the body parts that were hanging off. But after it, in the first 20 minutes, we got 2 bookings to go and do lectures and do a podcast live after the lecture. So anything could happen. And those bookings, one of them is for like September time, so it's a way away. But we're looking at if more have come in since as well, or inquiries. So if it is going to be a thing, then we'll probably turn it into like a tour so that we can do it. We can make a schedule, and then it's not so like we can work to it. So it's quite likely that we'll do that because the interest is there at the minute. All right, Nemed says, subscribe, get Lloyd past Craig for the comedy value. Oh, fuck. Not going to happen. Craig's channel's the best. Lee Raybold says, hey all, love the biddle concept you dropped on Thursday. Melted a fair few brains since pure gold as always. Thank you, Lee. I actually had a message from a guy called Edwin today, Edwin Todd, and he just said, wanted to say your biddle trick is genius, and he used it all day. He was out working a gig yesterday, and he performed it all day. I didn't think it would get the reaction that it did because I know like on the channel people like to watch sort of, I think the tricks with like visual gimmicks get more attention, but I thought this is the biddle trick. I don't know if you've seen it or not, Midge, or what my take on it.
I have, and I thought it was brilliant. Like you do something really well. So like I know a lot of people in the chat and people who follow you recognize you for doing, coming up with new concepts and putting out cool gimmicks and stuff. But what you do impressively well is take classics and reinvent them or make them better. And like that,
I wouldn't say better at all. But
I think that biddle trick is a prime example of just taking it to the next level. Like it was so good. But
I think to counter that argument, in that the beauty of the biddle trick is that it is impromptu, and then so it felt like I was cheating a little bit by being like, well, I'm gonna do all this to it because you could do that. It's like, oh yeah, look how good this, I don't know, this triumph is because it's impromptu, and then you're like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna not gimmick it, but
but like I really liked it. Like, I don't mind sacrificing it. Like, for example, I always say this about every effect ever. It's not about whether or not you like the trick. It's about whether or not you're comfortable with that compromise. Because all magic tricks have a compromise to it. Impromptu, not impromptu, gimmick, no gimmick, so on and so forth. So for not being impromptu, I am very happy with the compromise to the biddle trick that you came up with versus the original. So I always say that for every effect. It's always, are you happy with the compromise? Do you need to pack more into your pockets? You know,
Listen,
is that something you're comfortable
this is what
with?
I think about it, is that like, with like this biddle trick, the compromise is, if I'm going to do that my version of the biddle trick, then... And by the way, what can we call that? Anyone have any name ideas for that blank deck, red back biddle trick? Or I was thinking calling it the riddle trick, but then I was like, no, that's lame. But my compromise with that is that like, if I'm going to perform a trick with one big kicker, I travel light as it is. It's rare that I carry a deck. Like my everyday carry stuff is so minimal. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to A, need a matching blue deck, which isn't a problem. But B, I'm going to need to carry that blank deck and the red card. So if I'm going to do that biddle trick, I won't be doing any other card tricks that require an extra deck. Like for me, that is the maximum I'm going to carry is two decks at any time. Like I'm never carrying more than that. You know?
Which again is just compromise. It's just where are you happy with? But I would argue it's the same with like if somebody uses a stack deck, you know, you'd carry maybe one stack and then one unstacked potentially. But like, I guess it's.
Do you do stack work?
No, I'm trying to learn pneumatica.
Yeah.
For just to figure out.
I could have swore you knew a bunch of stack stuff.
No, I don't think I've ever memorized a full stack, ever.
Oh yeah, you do that like impromptu partial stack thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I got it from. Yeah, Midge does a bunch of stuff where he memorizes the stack live, parts of the stack live.
How can I make this harder on myself? It's pretty much all my routines.
Yeah.
Because there's. Well, what was it? There was the thing at Blackpool I showed you, like the A-can that revolves around memorizing partial stack. Live.
In a live performance, which is mental. Thirsty Juggernaut says, I got it to go with the 100th monkey chair test. This is in conjunction with the biddle trick. I don't know what the 100th monkey chair test is, I don't think. Do you?
I don't know what the chair test version is, but I know what the 100th monkey principle is.
Yeah, that's from Chris Philpott, right?
Yeah.
Is his name Chris Philpott?
Brilliant few books he's got out, by the way. I really think people should at least have a peek in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time I seen that 100th monkey principle, it was like... I'm sure Darren used it in one of his shows as well.
I think you're right, because I saw it originally on like Britain's Got Talent or something, or America's Got Talent.
Yeah,
I remember being floored by it, actually.
I think he used it. I can't remember which show it was. I want to say Enigma, and it's like he brings out the brochure for the what's it called? Not a brochure, but the guide for the show. You know what I mean? Anyway,
bill?
The show bill, yeah, something like that, or like the souvenir book, but that like the one he's got, it's built into, and he does it, and it's so good.
Rich Relish has a really great comment of what to call the biddle trick. Lloyd plus bitter, little trick.
Brilliant. Little. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, that works. Does Lloyd still... Tom Gibbons asks if I work for Murphy's. Yep, 100% dude. Still work for Murphy's. Best company in the world, man. I never even... Glubik says, hey guys, how's it going? I remember him. Nemed says, can't read my best handwriting, so nail writers are well out. Yeah, that's true. My handwriting... Do you know what? Do you know that I did my GCSEs, which for all our American and people who are not from Britain, that's like your main education exams. I did mine on computer. I had to do it in the special needs classes. It's not funny. My handwriting is so bad. Like, genuinely, I did all my GCSEs, the ones that you could use for a computer. I did them all on computer. It was sick, man. I got to get like loads of time out of class to do it as well.
That explains your signature so much.
David Peace says he pulled a dove's head off and exposed it and brought a fly back to life with the weirdness method. Right, this is David's on about now the street masked magician. The guy. Let me see if I can pull up a photo of this guy.
Name and shame.
Street. I don't know who he is. Like I've got a photo. Street magic exposed mask. I don't know how to search for this guy's name.
Like, did he just wear like a balaclava or something?
This dude.
Oh, he did. Oh,
where's my Skype? I can't see. OBS.
I don't recognize who that is. I don't think I've ever seen that face ever.
No, it's like someone covered the Phantom of the Opera in a rectoplasm or something. I don't know, but yeah, I remember that he taught a bunch of things like on there. Sting says big shout out from Germany. What's up, Sting? How you doing, man? Good to see you back here.
I'm liking that everyone here is like everyone in your chat is always so active and like just happy to talk, and I really like that. Like, it's such a wholesome community.
Yeah, everyone in the chat is the best. Like I'm always shocked that any one person shows up and just says like hello, let alone makes like good input, gives good input and valuable comments.
Yeah. I mean, it's I really like the Sunday sessions. I remember talking to you on the phone and just being like, it's the best content you put out.
Oh shit, thanks man.
Yeah, I love all of them. I think they're the best. I make time for them as well, so.
All right, well, you can pull your tongue out my ass now and we'll keep reading some comments. Jordan Davis, who is under the name The Glubix, says Eclipse from the 1914 are the best ESP cards, bar none. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I actually have them in a box. And I want to learn this as well. I've been meaning to get around to it. It's Iris from Lewis Lavelle. Have you seen it?
I've not seen the trailer to it, but like anything from Lewis is pretty good.
Oh man, look how good that looks with the ring light on it, by the way.
Dude, they gave me a few of the decks of cards, and actually the Shadow wallet is my genuine, actual, everyday wallet.
Yeah. What have I been using? The Orphic wallet, which is right here.
Yeah.
The 1914, man, they are making huge waves in the UK, and I love that it's like it's like the Theory 11 of mentalism. Yes, the Providence deck.
They're nice.
Beautiful.
Like I really like the effort they put into this. As far as I'm aware, there's no markings or anything to it, but like they're just so slick, and I love it's okay. You and I are gonna like nerd out about this. We're gonna understand each other. Their packaging is fucking dope.
Yeah,
I love their packaging.
Look at that, man. I mean, look at that. I'm good. Do you know what? I'm going to learn this tonight after the Sunday session. Have you seen what it is?
I don't think so.
So it's a star sign revelation. Basically, it's like a business card. Let me see if I can open this up without fucking breaking it. Use the backside.
So you're gonna use a scalpel knife, a craft knife. Yeah.
So it's like a little like business card thing that you keep in your wallet, and you ask the spectator to read. Let me show you. Let me see. I'm not going to try and expose this or do anything live because I will fuck it up. But so look at that. Oh, man, just by the way, just look at the inside of that.
Yeah. Like, again, their packaging is amazing. Like, I really do nerd out about packaging a lot. It sounds horrible, but I do the whole thing.
So this is what you get inside. And you get like 2 business cards.
Oh, nice.
And these just go inside your wallet, like this or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or in the back of your wallet, wherever you want to keep them. And then at any time, I think you ask someone to read like their horoscope. So it's okay. So this has got like all these things like internal, external health, strength, physical, and then this one, it's got
like intelligence, creative, energetic, welcoming.
So I'm guessing you just basically say to them, if you were born in the winter, then see which of these you are, and then pick your color or something. But basically, by them simply just like looking, what their star sign is, which is
that's interesting. I like that a lot.
and like Lewis is a great performer, and like I know that it's like super streamlined down, so to the audience it feels like they've done nothing, and you just know what their star sign is. And I love that type of mentalism, because and I didn't realize how powerful star sign revelations were.
Really?
No, until you went out and shot the Cypher trailer.
Yeah.
So for anyone that doesn't know, the original Cypher that I released at Illusionist a couple of years ago, not this new Cypher Pro, which has nothing to do with me. I don't even like really get what that is. Midge is the guy who shot the trailer for that.
Yeah.
Hello.
That was one of the funnest projects. It was definitely like a highlight, because I've shot a few Magic projects now.
Yeah.
And Cypher always comes into my head, because like it was a good day. Like I remember that being the easiest shoot, because Ryan just went for it. Like we were saying beforehand, like Ryan is just a machine. He'll just do one group and then the next group and then the next group and then the next group. And I think like at one point we might have had to stop because my memory cards were full. So it was like, I think it was like 30 performances, 40 full performances we sent you guys. It was a lot.
It was a lot, and the star sign revelation was just huge on it, because like, for what people don't know, when Cypher was first created, it was going to be given away for free. We made it like a year before release, and then did like a soft launch at the session convention, which it wasn't even a soft launch. It was anyone who wanted it got it free. You just come up to us and ask for it, because we thought it was like not that powerful. We didn't really realize what we had. And then after basically loads of people asked for it, and because it was something created whilst at Illusionist, like it had to be distributed in a certain way. So then you went and shot the trailer with Ryan Tricks, and the star sign revelation on top of the Toxic Force, that was just getting like, I remember because I edited the trailer, and the reactions to that, just telling people their star sign. I know like it's such a common thing now, but it's so impactful, and I think it's just because there's the direct link for it right in their mind. Their card is at a number, now the card and that number match in the same position of the deck, or they named a place, then they named a country, now they named a name, and now they're both in the glass on a piece of paper. It's like, hey, nice to meet you, by the way, you're an Aries. What the fuck?
Well, there's actually, I want to go out on a tangent here, because it's something really interesting that you noted on with the star sign. From my experience, and because I like reading, I don't just like reading like magic books, I really like reading biographies of magicians. And one of the magicians I came across, if any of you might know the name, I doubt you would, she's very niche, is a woman by the name of Anna Eva Fay. And to give you a brief summary, she was practically orphaned. For the first 30 years of her life, or 40 years of her life, she performed as a genuine psychic. Genuinely being able to do, like, talk to the dead, so on and so forth. And she was around, she died in 1927, but she was born in like 1856 or 1852, something around that era, where Victorian style seances and all that were still going on, and people really loved them. But she wrote loads of things in a I can't remember what the name of the book is called, but it's basically her biography. It's a thick 400-page book, and it has a purple cover. But she used to write essays of why she thinks mentalism and spiritualism and all those things worked. And she literally only wrote down in like one paragraph, it works because you tell the audience about themselves. That was it. So when you're going into things like star signs, birthdays, you're telling them about themselves, things that you couldn't possibly know. So I think the intrigue is always there. It's kind of like why people still to this day, visit psychics. Because they want to know about themselves. If anyone visits a psychic, it's either to visit somebody close to them or to learn about their future or fortunes, right? Yeah. So it's very self-centered. So when you perform mentalism and you gather, like, let's say a handful of effects that directly relate to them, that's why I really like Desire, Max Maven's effect from Prism. It's the first effect in Prism in the Blue Book, and it's a living and dead test about where you want to go in the world. So you hand out a bunch of billets, and let's say everybody writes down a country they've been to, and one person writes down a country that they would like to go to but never been there. You're constantly re-putting or pushing this idea that when you're performing the effects, or the way I do it anyway, that I'm here to tell you about yourself, to explore ideas. So when it goes to like birthdays and star signs and like hopes and ambitions and dreams and stuff like that, I'm just telling you things you wanna know. But in the context of mentalism, there's no way for me to know that. And that's what I think. If people like, there's so many great effects in mentalism, but I can tell you this now. And Luc Germain said it best. Lloyd, if I could tell you what's a better effect, me telling you the card you're thinking of, or the name of your first kiss, intrinsically one of those two pieces of information is more valuable than the other, or more interesting, right?
Yeah.
But it's because it has a connection with you. That's my little rant kind of over, but the idea
is... No, I'm actually hanging off every word you say, and I want you to keep talking about it.
Oh, okay. Basically, if I can sum it all up, is if when you are performing mentalism, you make the effects, the whole scenario about them. You're telling them their first crush, their hopes, their dreams. It's why, for example, a questions and answers routine can be so powerful, because you're doing that same thing, but you're doing it for an audience of people. You know, it like if we stop thinking about, now, this is going to sound slightly controversial, but I think the people who are like psychics and mediums and all them, they actually stumbled upon what I think are the true secrets of mentalism. They found a way of getting people to want to listen to them so that they can be told things about themselves. Right? So with that, like, again, hence the reason seances still happen, tarot card readings and fortune tellers and all those happen. Now, to clarify, I think these people are charlatans. They are bad people. But the ideas, the techniques that they have in their head, it's fucking wonderful. Like, absolutely insane, in my opinion. Like Barnum statements, right? Barnum statements are the most obvious crap on earth. But if you do it well, there's no distinction between that and true mind reading. Right? If you can do them properly. So I think there's a lot to be said about revisiting and looking at those people and their performance techniques in a way to enhance your own mentalism performance. If you want to go down the route of this might actually be real, or this guy could actually read minds, I think that's a very interesting place to start. Even though ethically what they're doing is horrific, the methodology is and performance methodology is really something to actually be admired. You know,
I remember Pete Turner calling me, and it was like 11 a.m. He was in bed, and he had a bag of chips from the chip shop, and he was watching this mentalist, and I can't remember his name. And if I did, not mentalist, he was watching this medium, and I can't remember his name, but if I did, I wouldn't say it, because he was like, "Oh, this guy, he's amazing, and if anyone's serious about mentalism, they need to watch this guy." Because, and I remember him, and like, so the fact that he picked up on those things as well, you know, that people like the psychics sometimes have the most incredible techniques that are transferable. Yeah, it's fascinating.
I think all of that stuff like is brilliant. Like, to me, their techniques, performance-wise, outshine almost any magician, almost. But like, we have the added benefit of being able to take those techniques, incorporate methodologies that work, like a peak or nail writer or whatever you want to incorporate, and get the best of both worlds. So I think that to me is where like mentalism gets really exciting, is how can I create this environment where I can have both and do jaw-dropping effects that in of themselves aren't particularly amazing. Like a star sign revelation is 1 in 12, right? Realistically, if you want to break it down analytically, it's 1 in 12.
Yeah.
But if you incorporate cold reading into it in a believable way, and by believable I mean the problem with a lot of people when they talk about, let's say, cold reading.
Well, as you say that, right? Yeah. Rope it into this question, which is from Alex. Not Alex, but sorry. Where did it go?
I think I did see a question there about cold reading.
Yeah, someone says, do you have any good sources for cold reading? Yeah, so Daniel Linseed says, what are your best sources for cold reading, and do you combine it with other effects? So, point in case, continue forward with this.
Okay, Daniel, I think if you haven't read it already, you really want to have a look at. Pete Turner did a group of mentalism masterclasses, PDFs, and I think you can still find them on Penguin. And one of them is cold reading. And I think it's something, I can't remember how many pages it is or what it costs, but it's an instant download PDF. And what's really great about that is he doesn't just write his own stuff, he actually writes a few other pieces and incorporates other people and other mentalists and magicians to kind of collaborate on that. So you're getting a lot as a jumping off point. You get a lot for, in my opinion, what's relatively a cheap amount of money. But if you want to be serious about cold reading, what I think you need to do is somehow find the bad sources. Because the bad sources about cold reading would say something like, you're a Gemini and you have two parts to your personality and stuff, and they would go down that road. And I think that's not the smartest way of doing it. But the reason I don't think it's the smartest way about doing it is that is a very obvious Barnum statement. So I'm gonna backtrack and show you kind of like my working of it. If you wanted to do cold reading, think about it logically, right? Most people are unhappy with something in their lives. So if we go down, if anyone knows this, the SCAM, THESCAM, stands for, it's an acronym for travel, health, education, sex, careers, aims, and money, or sex and relationships, careers, aims, and money. Basically, any problem somebody has in their life or anything somebody wants to know about their own lives should match or fall into one or multiple of these categories. Okay? So generally speaking, a lot of people would be unhappy with their jobs, right? So you can create a nice idea of, oh, so I think you're really unsatisfied in your job and you're unfulfilled. Is that correct? But where you're really happy is, your love life, for example, especially if they're sat there with their partner and you're performing and it just happens to be like a couple, they're never going to say no to, are you happy in your relationship? Not while their partner is present. So you can always work those into like what I would call more warm reading things. And all you need to do for that is read the news. Like every 20 seconds, there's a headline of something bad happening in the world or some statistic that says 60% of people are depressed, so on. But if you read them and understand them, you can always enter into a point of warm reading. Like kind of, it's cold reading because you don't know the person, but you have this backlog of information that would apply to, if it applies to like 8 out of 10 people, you can almost hit anything, which I think is for me, a very interesting
Just that technique alone, though, by the way, where you say, like, you can force them to say, like, a yes, because they're not going to say no in front of their partner, is really powerful, because, like you said, you can double that up with another question, right? So,
I said, for example, most people would be unsatisfied in their lives, particularly millennials. You see the number of satisfaction or fulfillment go lower and lower and lower. So if somebody's roughly the same age as you and you say, oh, you really want to change careers, you're not quite as satisfied as in your job as you'd like to be, most people would answer yes to that, because if they are millennials, then we also have the statistics. We also have the data to back that cold reading statement up. Yeah. So it looks like you're getting a hit, but all you've done is...
I've seen a really good tip for card magic from, I think it's Danny Deortes, which kind of reminds me of this principle, which is if you want to make it look like you've given someone the option to change their mind for real. So you can say to someone, so to everyone it feels like they pick a card and just before the final reveal you say, now you could have changed your mind. Then what you do is you double the questions up. So so I can't remember which way around it is now, but you say like, is it true you had a fair choice? No, what did you say? Did I
you could have changed them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, did I force you to think of any card and do you want to change your mind? And they have to say no. Like, do you know what I mean? So you throw in the two questions combined as one.
Yeah. Nathan's in the chat as well. He just.
Oh, there he is. Abraxas, what's up, Nate? What's going on, man? Yeah, I like you could do with that as well. Which, I mean, it's mentalism, really, but you can say, is it? Do you agree that that deck was shuffled and what you had was a free choice?
Yeah.
And even though they may not have got a free choice, they remember shuffling the deck. But I don't know. It's something like that. And but it's really. I remember thinking that was a really powerful little trick to just the tip to throw in there to be able to say to convince people to not change their mind even though they feel like they have the option to.
Yeah, you're getting
combine
to
two
answer
questions
both
together.
questions at the same time, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on a big tangent about this, but it's something that I have a lot of thoughts on.
No, it's really, really good. Nathan's just joining the chat now, but he would have just missed all that cold reading thing.
You were like 5 minutes too late, Nathan.
I remember seeing I always associate cold reading with very like outdated cold reading. You know, the type of cold reading that you read in like a Mystic Meg newspaper cutting. But I remember seeing D. Christopher years and years ago at a bar doing cold reading to the guy, and he was just saying like really like, I mean this is like years ago now, like I don't know, a long time, like 8 years maybe, but at the time it was like Netflix had just come out, and he was like, oh, you know, the other type of guy that would like lay in bed all day and binge Netflix as opposed to going out for a run and, you know, to the park and thing. I remember thinking, oh, now that's the type of cold reading I can get behind, because the guy was like, yeah, I am, I really am. Obviously Netflix is really common now, but at the time it wasn't. I remember thinking, oh, that's the type of cold reading I can get behind, because it sounds really personal, really unique, but also it's total hit. Everyone's, you know, 9 times out of 10 people are going to say yes to that question, and it's modern.
I also think on the topic of cold reading, for anyone that's interested in it,
tricked off is like, hi, I'm here. Lloyd, say hi. Tricked off, hey, what's going on, man? How are you, dude?
Where was I? Topic of warm reading. If you get good at recognizing and picking up on details that you can visibly see from people, for example, maybe they've got a watch and the watch is scuffed up. You know, you can always make. Harville Marek, nice to see you, Mitch. Okay.
Say hi back.
Hello. The thing is, this is like one of our usual chats, except for the problem.
Carry on with the watch thing. I really like that, though. I want to know.
Okay. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you can gather a lot of detail from people by the way by the way they dress, by the way they speak, and by the way they behave. So when you go into the cold reading, all you have to do is remember exactly what's in front of you. So if you see somebody with a scuffed up watch and it's not, you know, kept really nicely, you can make a cold reading on the spot that's specific to them. So let's say we get the opposite. We're working with somebody who is dressed to the nines. They look really good. They're wearing like some really like fancy jewelry. You can always say, and this is a terrible old outdated line, you know, you're the kind of person that appreciates the finer things in life, for example. But they would probably have to say yes to that under the basis that, that's what you see in front of them. So you're making an educated guess as opposed to cold reading statements. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, you know, let's say you're performing and the person you're performing to is like very clearly this person works out all the time. You can build a different cold read into it and just say, you seem to be the kind of person that's very self-motivated to me. And in fact, I think you work on multiple projects at once as opposed to lazing about most of the day. In fact, I would wager you probably get more done in your day than anyone else would, or any of your friend group would as well. But you're just seeing what's in front of you. Like, you know, nobody that is like,
I've seen some really good, interesting observational ones, which is like most men, unless you see they've got like a really fancy wallet, a lot of males' wallets are gifts given to them.
Yeah.
So you say like the wallet you have, like that was a gift given to you, right? And I've seen that hit really big for people. And the same goes with scuffed up watches. I've heard that described as gift. But there's some great comments coming in. David P says, for cold reading, I tend to describe a friend of mine who the person reminds me of. That's a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Rich Relish says, to practice, if you have a strong reveal, you can always throw out a couple of cold reading statements, followed by the hit phrased as a question, so it seems as though they agreed to all the statements. E.g., this is great. I've seen Pete Turner do this. So example, Rich says, I feel X about you and also Y about you, you're thinking of the two of hearts, right? So for everyone listening, if I know somebody picked the two of hearts, what Rich is saying, I could say like, and I think the way I see Pete do this is that he goes, just don't try to give anything away for a minute, but you're the type of person, you're strong, you are the leader of the pack. I feel that you're quite an analytical thinker. Okay, don't give anything away. Also, you're thinking of the two of hearts. Yes, and then that sort of confirms the rest of it like a domino sort of effect.
Yeah.
Adam Wilbur says, "What are you puffing on over there?"
Vape.
Just a standard vape. Wilbur, you'd hate it.
Listen, Wilbur, get off my case.
All right, so I'm going to try and get back through the comments from the top.
Do something amazing again.
Oh, by the way, Adam Wilbur's coffee, cups, and beans. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Vulpinecreations.com. I mean, Adam was on here last week, waxed lyrical, openly displayed everything you get in the coffee, cups, and beans. This is a mentalism chat, but guys, just as a reminder for you all, please go and check out Adam's new masterworks on the cups and balls. It's his take on it, and you've seen it live actually at Blackpool, Midge.
I did. It's probably the only cups and balls I would actually use because it's not, the traditional cups and balls. But and directly to Adam here, I really am annoyed that you showed the flip over kind of load in last week or the week before's episode, because now when I go into my kitchen, I can't not load a tea bag as I'm making tea that way.
Yeah, so for anyone that didn't see it, go watch last week's show. Adam teaches a new load.
Yeah, and it's addictive as well.
Yeah.
It's so addictive to just flip and load, and like, there's no point to it. I'm just making a cup of tea, but like, since seeing that, I can't not do it.
Yeah, I remember when I watched that live last week when Adam showed it, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? It was the coolest thing ever.
No, I saw that live, and the bit that I really, really, really enjoyed from it was the coffee bean load at the end. You know the one where you go behind the desk and load. Yeah. When I saw that, I was just like, Jesus, that's ridiculous.
I got to feel the load because it's magnetic, but it's like a suction silent magnetic. So like it goes like into the cup. Yeah. You don't actually press it down. It's just like you hold it near the load. It goes like.
Oh, it goes up as opposed to the cup going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mate. No, that's going to be something that I think that the coffee cup. I think that's going to be something that I want to see that actually being produced and used. I know this is mentalism, but like there are very few, and when you get older in Magic, like very few effects actually excite you anymore.
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones that I was like, oh yeah, now this I can get behind.
Yeah,
well, very few things do that for me.
What you said straight away is what I've heard everyone say. It's like, oh, finally, it's the version that I would do, right? Like, I would never present a cups and balls routine, but I know for a fact with coffee, cups, and beans, I have a little island in my kitchen, so like it's almost like a little stage area, and I have guests come over, and for sure, because I do more like on the fly magic, of course.
Yeah.
So for me, those white cups in my house, normal ones. So for me, it's not a thing to be like, oh guys, check this out, and just start riffing it, like perfection for me. And then the fact that they are also perfect for doing a professional, like he's gonna open with close his Magic Castle thing, I think, with those things.
Yeah,
it's very rare to find something that diverse that can.
Adam says cups and balls mentalism effect. Let's do it.
Well, have those final loads have multiple outs, so you can have somebody, because the last one's a drink, right? So you can have like a espresso liquid come out.
Yeah.
We'll have somebody like just have someone in the audience name a drink like milk, orange juice, espresso.
Yeah.
And anything, and then do that, and then reveal it as like a think a drink at the end. There you go, Adam. There's an extra $100 for the gift for the price.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Think a drink for it.
Oh my god! Imagine that, doing coffee, cups, and beans, and then.
And think of a drink.
By the way, man, please name something to come out. Name a drink. Boom.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
I mean, really, orange juice, coffee, because coffee can look like tea, and it can look like Coca-Cola because it's black, right? So it can look like Pepsi. Orange juice can look like orange soda, and then milk. Mm-hmm. So you'd need like a black one, a white one, and an orange liquid.
Yeah.
And you could probably confidently do a think drink there.
Yeah, because he's got 3 cups, and I can't remember if he has 2 loads or 3 loads.
2 loads, but there's a third load for liquids, but the 2 loads are for coffee beans.
Yeah, so if you double up on your loads, you can make multiple liquid loads. I'm not sure
Yeah.
purchasing wise how that works, but yeah, you could. And depending on which one they say, if they say like, I don't know, coffee instead of orange juice, you just undo the other load. You just reveal the other load.
Speaking of thinker drinks, I found God, I think I might have I bought a bunch of coins. I bought 1,000 or 4,000 US quarters. And it's the heaviest box ever. This is going back before when I first created Enigma. So this is like 10 years ago. And because I did it for one trick, which I never even fucking released. It was a thinker drink. So in the UK, I would take a 10 pence piece and I'd give it to someone to hold on to in their hand. And I'd say to them, I want you to think of any drink, right? Any like nothing too obscure, but think of like a shot that you would buy at the bar, and this is going to be the change that you get from that shot. But just to make it a bit more sort of, instead of just like a general thing like vodka or rum, think of a brand name and one that you potentially know like where in the world, like fairly specifically, that would come from. Okay, don't tell me. And then I'd say, can you tell me the name of the place you're thinking of? And it'd be hopefully Tennessee, Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, and then they'd open up and I had all these Tennessee quarters that were specifically from Tennessee.
Ooh.
So the 10 pence piece would turn into a Tennessee quarter in their hand.
Oh, that's smart. I like that a lot.
So it was that idea of doing think a drink, but with no drink.
Yeah, it's like I had this idea ages ago for an effect, and I think it's the best thing I've created, even though not a lot of it's original, but the idea was you get a small vase with a cork on it, and everyone can see that there's nothing in that vase, or sorry, in that little vial. And you take the vial, you put it into somebody's hand, and you ask them to think of a flower, and they name Rose. And then when they open their hand, inside the little vial is a rose, a miniature rose.
Oh, that's sick.
And it's just a force and a switch of the little bottles. But I loved the idea of, because now I'm going to butcher this, and Nathan's watching, but the word abraxas?
Abraxas, yes.
It originally means I speak to create, or I speak as I create.
Oh, abracadabra means, I create as I speak.
Yeah, but I love that idea of somebody saying something and then they make it happen.
Yes.
As a mentalism effect. But it was kind of like blending the two.
Yeah.
And if anyone is caring.
Oh, do you know what you should try? You know that trick? I'll type it in the Skype window. Oh, it might.
I'm not gonna get notifications. I'll type it into WhatsApp.
Okay, yeah. Let's try some mentalism over the air.
Oh God.
So everyone, pay close attention. Midge is going to test something on you.
Oh.
This may or may not hit, so don't worry. Don't stress on it. But this may work, this may not. So everyone get ready to. What Midge is going to do it, then you're all going to answer in the comments below, and then we're going to see if it hits or not.
Okay.
And you could write it down beforehand, or I can write it down for you.
Yeah, you write it down because I don't have a pen on me.
Okay.
This was actually the first thing I ever showed you, and it was the first thing I ever released at as well.
The very, very first thing. All right.
Phenom has work like that, all right?
Okay, don't give anything away.
I've not read Orion, Rich, but I do know him, and I do really like his style of thinking. Him and I have had many, many conversations over some of his material.
This is the prediction, folks.
Right. Well, we'll try this. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but generally speaking, can you all do me a favor if you can hear me? I'm going to imagine, or I want you to imagine somebody stood by the front door of their own house. Okay? It can be any fictional person or somebody you just make up on the spot. All right? And you and I are going to create a story. What I'm going to ask you to do is just imagine. You don't have to type anything. You don't have to say anything out loud. But imagine that this person goes either into their house or goes down the road. Okay? And as they walk through, they will eventually reach a garden. Now, you're going to have to make a decision. I've never tried to perform this way, but you're going to have to make a decision about this person. Are they going to go down the path that they went down a million times, or are they going to go down a path that they went down, never before? And as they go down this path, I want you to imagine that they see in front of them a bush, and around that bush, a bunch of insects. And instinctively, your character goes and tries to grab one and holds it. Just right there. Can you tell me what that insect might be?
So everyone comment below.
Yeah, just comment what the insect is that you think we're going for. I'm not sure if this will work because I've never tried it over the internet with
we'll wait,
40 people.
We'll give it a minute for people to comment because there's a delay on the comments from the live stream. But as soon as I see a few comments coming in, I'll reveal what this is your prediction, by the way. I just wrote it down for you.
Yeah.
Is.
Everyone went for ants.
Everyone's gone for ants.
It's similar.
Ladybug and spider. No one's actually got this yet.
Yeah, no.
I've
never tried it in this context. There we go. Somebody has it. One person has it.
This went so south. Well, the answer was butterfly.
Yeah, Propolis Mentalism to 40 people over the internet is my new product. No.
Oh well.
Yeah, I knew that wasn't going to work for how many people are there. Like,
the
situation requires a lot
this is how I met you, and you fried me with that at the Session Convention, and then you did it to a bunch of people, and I remember following you around, and you were just nailing it. So I don't know whether doing it online is the best way of doing it, but
it's really not. It's really less than ideal.
Do you know any psych forces for playing cards?
I do know one. And we've not prearranged or done anything, but
we'll do it for everyone at home.
Oh, you know what? We can try that. Yeah, I'll try this. I've no idea again if this is going to work to so many people online. But
I love that you just tried it though. So many people would be like, "Oh no, I'm too afraid. It might go wrong."
No, my logic is you either win and hit or you learn, but you can't fail.
Yes. Well, we're amongst friends here.
Yeah, we're also amongst friends. So everybody, anyone that can listen to me, I'm going to ask you to imagine that I've dealt out a deck of playing cards, regular deck of playing cards, into two piles. The pile that's over here is, all of them are number cards, ace, 2, 3, all the way to 10. And the pile over here are the picture cards, a jack, queen, and a king. If you can mentally select one of these for me, but don't type anything just yet. Okay? Now, I'm also going to ask you to imagine pairing whatever you're thinking of with the suit you like best that will work with it. So everyone by now should have a playing card in mind. Don't type it just yet, but I'll see if this works. Everyone got their playing card in mind?
Yeah, so give them a minute to type it in. Let's see how this does. And by the way, Midge, this is interesting, is that going back to the butterfly effect, which sort of seems to be a resounding fail by two people. And Nemet says, I can only assume Alex and I have superior attention paying skills and saw the butterfly holding hand cup in. That's true. That is kind of subtlety. But you know for the future that it's a toss-up between, what is it, B was surprising to me. Because I thought no one would hold a B like that. But B and ant. So there we go. All right. Yeah. So if everyone's gonna start typing a card now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait for loads of cards to come in. Okay. Because right now we only have 2 in the chat, so I don't want to. And one of them said, "Hello."
Gideon just said hello.
Gideon,
you're late, Gideon. You need to be typing in a playing card.
No, kill me. It's not an act. Kill me. Oh, we're alive. Yeah.
So we got King of Hearts, Jack of Spades, 3 of Hearts, Queen of Hearts, King of Spades, Jack of Diamonds, Jack of Hearts. Yeah. You are really struggling to breathe over there, Mitch.
I am.
I feel
drank
really terrible
really
putting you on the spot, and now
I'm willfully dying.
8 of clubs,
I don't think this hit at all, but like it was meant to be Jack.
6 of hearts. Yeah, you are dying. Guys, every time you guess a
I'm
wrong
actually
card,
dying.
Midge loses a life.
Yeah.
That's what's happening every time you cough. I feel awful now.
No, I just drank water. You know when it goes down the wrong pipe?
Yeah, I'll show everyone my favorite Psych Force.
Yeah.
But there's an issue with this though. Well, I'll show it to everyone. I'll see if I can change it up, but it's not mine. It's a bunch of other people's things. But again, let's try this. This is my OBS. So I want everyone to think of a random, at least value of a playing card. So try and avoid the obvious choices and go for a random value of a playing card. Okay, and just to make it sure that you're not going to settle on something which is the first thing that comes to mind. If you're thinking of a number, change to a picture. And if you're thinking of a picture, change to a number. And again, don't think of one of the obvious ones in either category that everyone goes for. Okay. And now I want you to think of the suit that would go with it. So like everyone knows like the spades is the gambling suit. Think of a suit that you like you don't even know what it would like even symbolize to you. Okay, and then just lock it in and just add that to the card. All right, so now you have a card in mind that's being created truly randomly. You've thought of it, you changed your mind, you've added something to it, which is a suit that you don't even understand. Right? So I'll give everyone a moment in the chat to let me know what their answer is. So everyone down below, please let us know your answer.
See, I really like this because like I never thought about this idea before, but what we could potentially work on and make work is a propless tossed out deck.
King OK says this is the one you taught off the gas system, so I won't spoil it. But everyone else, answer what card do you think I'm holding. And the way that I do this is so yeah, the comments are off at 4 of something, 9 of diamonds, 2 of clubs, King of diamonds. Cliff the magician has got it. Jack of clubs. Jack of clubs for James. Yeah, so it's the Jack of clubs. It's so strange that these are. I wonder if it's because we're doing it with a delay and it's a live stream that it's not hitting so much. But it's the Jack of clubs. But what I do with this is that I used to do this when I was going around Toronto a lot. I spent like randomly I was back and forth Toronto with like Madison and stuff and like McKinnon. I would put this in a blank deck, and I would put it at a position. So I'd say like for everyone in the chat, you can guess which number, but I'd say I'd get the person to think of this card, and then I would say. Think of a number between like 10 and 20, but make it a big difficult one. All right, so everyone thinks of a number. And you guys can guess in the window really quick. I'll give you like 20 seconds to guess what number that would be. But this would be in a position in the deck, which would be, I'll just say it now, it would be 18th in the deck. So I would Psych Force them this card and then the number 18. And if they said 17, 16, and I always kept a break under 3 because some people named 14. Then when it would hit for any of the numbers, they would have a thought of any card, any thought of number, and I would have them deal face down to it. And then they would turn over to the Jack of clubs, and the kicker would be that the entire deck was blank. Yeah, so Jack Shocker got it straight away. The number 17 would hit because they would deal down 17, and it'd be the next card, and then the rest of the deck would be blank. But I used that for ages.
That's 2 people published that. Russ Andrews published it. I think the DVD was called Spoken. And,
yes.
Ross Taylor published it, and it was called the Circle Force.
Yeah, and I learned it from Ross Taylor as the Ecroft Force, and then there's also like it's also based on like the Springboard principle by Michael Murray.
Yeah.
And then the 10-20 thing is something I've seen Harry Lorraine do, and then Danny D'Ortiz using it I think later in time. So it's like it's not the only thing that I brought to it is the Clubs Force. Which I've shared with loads of people, which is you just throw out spades and you say, you know what, go for a suit which is random, like you don't even know anything about it. And because you told them spades is the gambling suit. Hearts, diamonds.
Yeah. I love this few comments coming in. Gary, you never did explain that card at number card at number at the Ruskin.
What card at number? Can you do it right now?
Sure. Let's try this. I need you to tilt the camera down onto your desk though, if that's okay.
It's not a full deck. Is that okay?
That's fine.
God, I'm worried to go down on my desk because I don't know what's here. Ooh, it's kind of clean.
Kind of clean.
Do you want to what are the? I don't,
you can choose deck. I don't mind.
Well, this is the best deck ever.
Yeah, I don't mind if it's
oh
full
shit!
or not.
I dropped a card. Okay, all right.
Right, they're not stacked or anything like that. You can shuffle them if you want. I'm happy if you do. Lloyd, do you know what the difference between intuition and logic is?
Nope, but I'm gonna find out.
You're gonna find exactly. Do me a favor. If I ask you logically to name any playing card, what would that card be?
The 6 of clubs.
Okay, and if I ask you logically to name a number between 1 and 52, what number would that be? But make it a bit difficult. Don't say like the top third or something like that.
23.
Can you deal down 23 cards face up for me, please? And see if it's there?
Oh.
Well, maybe the 6 of spades is there.
6 of spades. Okay, yeah, I like the 6 of spades. My favorite card. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Sweet. Do me a favor. We're going to try and put the deck back together for me. Nice. I'm going to try and do something based on logic. If I said to you to gravitate intuitively to one of the following cards, be it like, let's say the 7 of diamonds, the jack of clubs, and the king of clubs, hypothetically, which one of those would you gravitate to more?
7 of diamonds.
7 of diamonds. I'm going to ask you to start dealing face down this time to the table, so nobody can see any card.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, just keep dealing. And count as you do that.
Count as I do it?
Yeah.
So shall I recount?
Yeah, you can recount.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And in a second,
11,
you're going to feel a need
12,
to stop.
13, 14, 15, 16.
Just there, you're sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
And you said what card?
7 of diamonds.
Can you look at the card you just dealt?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
That's so good.
So for everyone asking, Gary Stumper
Sumter.
asked about that's the Blackpool A-can that I never explained.
That's really cool.
It's a lovely little idea, and I don't know why I really like it. If I'm being honest.
I like it. It works for me.
Yeah, but just to be fair to everyone, that wasn't prearranged or anything, and you've seen me work that to lay audiences to magicians, right?
Yes.
Now imagine that after 8 pints.
That's so good.
But it's actually a very, very simple, very simple methodology that I think I want to write it into a book or something. And just so everyone is aware, because I'm going to make the disclaimer now, that is not 100%. It doesn't work every time, and you have to work and be clever about how you use it. But it can be that clean.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is the perfect any card in there, but there's loads of things that I'm still working with the method to kind of make happen and make it robust. So if I do release it, it eventually gets like the work it deserves.
I'll show everyone this because it's super easy and it's super basic, so there's no problem giving it away.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go through cards, mid-range, whatever you like. Just say stop.
Stop.
Okay. I'm gonna try and look away, but I need you to remember this card. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, got it.
I don't want to know what it is. Is that in the deck?
It is.
Okay. I want you to think of a number. Well, I can either like give them a we all know what's going on. But I think your cards are lost somewhere in the middle of the deck. Just to check, it's not on the top?
Nope. It's not in that group of cards,
Not on the bottom?
It's not there either.
Okay, so it's somewhere in the middle?
Yeah.
Alright, what I want you to do is think of any number in the middle of the deck where you think your card could be.
23.
23. And what we're going to do is this. We're going to deal down 23, and then we're going to deal for each digit as well that you name. And you can change your mind completely free, right? This is a fair choice.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll do it for you here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, right? So that's 23 cards. And then we'll deal for each digit, which again is a completely fair choice.
Yep.
Any other digit, any other number would be a different outcome. So for 20, which is 2,
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3,
Yep.
right? 1, 2, 3. Could that be any more fair?
No.
And if you change your mind and it was 24, it'd be another card. If it was 28, if it was 35, it'd be different. For the first time, name your card out loud.
Jack of Hearts?
The Jack of Hearts. Do you want to change your mind?
No, I'm pretty happy.
Jack of Hearts, 23. Any other card would have been a completely different outcome. Any other number would have been a completely different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's exactly where you called it.
That's fucking brilliant.
It's not. It's fun to.
No, it is.
It's fun for laymen. It's a fun layman trick. I'll teach everyone. Do you guys in the chat want to learn how that's done?
Yeah.
Do you want me to? I don't have to teach it if you know, if you can figure it out. But if you want to learn how it's done, then say yes or drop a like on the video at the same time.
I'll drop a like on the video as we're talking. What? Done.
I'm sure you know that method, Midge.
Without revealing too much, is it
Yeah.
the one we discussed with the number 9?
Without revealing the entire thing, yeah. yeah. We've got some yeses coming in. Yes. See, I don't know if I'm just too close to that effect. That I don't think is very impressive, but it is fun.
It is good.
Gary Sumter's asking, man, I do need to get on a Skype session with you guys. Am I worthy? Absolutely fucking lootly, Gary. How many yeses do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If we get to 15 yeses, I'll teach it. And if we get to 30 likes, I'll teach it. That's one more.
Shocker asked, like, any forces between 1 and 52. Can I ask you if you meant the ACAN I did as a force, or are you asking about forcing numbers?
I think you're talking about forcing numbers in general, because if so, then he's about to learn one. Kind of.
Yeah. I was about to say, if he wanted that, then yeah, he's really going to get a good one there.
Okay. I feel bad because that was such a bad any card, any number. I feel like that was such a lame any card, any number, but I'm comfortable teaching it on the channel. So it really is compared to the ones that I like to do, which are so clean. But David M got the Jack of Clubs for us. Fantastic. Thanks.
I just like that Alex Bow is just saying yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll teach it to you guys. So this is really simple. I first learned the first iteration of this in a magic book called, I think, like 101 Card Tricks by James Weir, I think it is, right? And it's basically, there's a principle, and if you place a card at 9th, so we'll place this card at 9th, the Ace of Spades, ironically. If somebody names a number between 10 and 20, it doesn't matter what number they name, when they deal down to it, and then add the 2 digits up and take them away, it'll always be 9. And most of you will recognize this as the trick, which is, hey, think of a number between 10 and 20, add the 2 digits together and take them away from the original number. It's a principle in maths that will always force 9. So, for example, the Ace of Spades is 9th. Midge, name a number between 10 and 20.
15.
So watch how this works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right? Now, the 2 digits are 1 and 5.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you got the ace of spades, right? And it works every single time. So I just added some layers of deception either side of it and expanded it, because what a lot of people don't know is that it doesn't work for the card in the 9th position, but it also works for the card at every multiple of 9. So 9, 18, 27, 36, and 45. And with that in mind, for example, you can actually put like 4 cards at those positions, like 4 dupes, like 4 Queen of Hearts at those positions, and use it as like a really clean sort of card reveal, like a card at any number. But what I did was I had you select a card and I had it put back into 18th. So as I say, go ahead and tell me to stop, and I'm doing this, I'm actually counting 17 cards. So the way you do that is to push over 5. So you'll see there's 3 and 2. And that's the easiest way to do it, is count like in 3s and 2s. Then I push over 3 and 2, which gives me 5 again. So I'll try and do it slow. So there's 5, 10, 13, 15, and I go, and at this point I say, just tell me when to stop. So I go 16, 17, and they stop on 18. If they don't, I'll go past the 18th position, and when I tell them to put it back in, I'll just take those cards back from the 17th and put it in. So now in this case, we got the 4 of spades at 18, and you do a little false cut to say that it's mixed into the deck. And what's nice here is that you can show that it's not near the top and it's not near the bottom, in which case it must be in the middle, right? So this is the conviction, the reasoning for forcing them to the middle and getting them to say a number between 20 and 30, because you've shown that it's not near the top or bottom. So there's no point in them naming anything in these positions, right? So now I say name a number somewhere near the middle. If they go out of range, like 30 plus or lower than 20, I would say, oh, that's a bit more than, that's probably I think that's probably in the lower or top halves. But everyone names a number between 20 and 30. It's just logic, unless they like really have no concept of, the center of the deck. So it doesn't matter what they name. So name a different number between 20 and 30, Midge.
27.
So 27. Don't forget, their card is at 18th, which is the multiple of 9. So watch what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Oh, sorry, 27,
27,
right?
Yeah.
So now you pick up this pile. So each number, right? So 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and their card is exactly there. And it works every single time. And it's based off a really old principle, and just by dressing up some stuff either side to make it seem a bit fair. For example, them losing a card into the deck looks fair. The false cut and then saying it's not near the top or bottom looks fair. And then of course the rest of it is history. So I hope you all enjoyed learning that.
There's a really nice idea with that that I was playing around with after you showed it to me. Is if you keep a card, let's say the 18th card is the one that we're going with. I can't remember what the numbers were, but I think it was 16, 17, 18, and 19. You keep like the 4 of a kind, like the 4 aces. When you do that effect, you're put into a position where in some of the piles, you get like, you can reveal all 4 aces. So
yes, yeah. If you have the 9th, 18th as well. Daniel Roth is asking, what if he names a smaller number? So I think I just covered that, but maybe there's a delay. If he names a number that's not, if it's lower than 20 or higher than 30, I just say, I've just showed you that part. I just showed you that it's not in the top or bottom halves. Like I think it is in the middle, so maybe make it a bit more of a central number.
Yeah. And also, Joker, forcing in general. Animan had a really small booklet called 202 Methods of Forcing. It's very cheap. I don't know where you can find it at the moment.
It's probably public domain.
Probably public domain. You could probably find from a local magic shop like £5 or $5, like very cheap. But it's Theodore Animan's 202 Methods of Forcing. And you could force a bunch of different things from it.
Cool. David P said, Lloyd, what's the name of the deck? This is the Abraxas. This is the Resurrected V2 deck by Abraxas. And they're marked in many different ways. Gary says, gotta say, I'm a big fan of both of you guys. I love how your minds work. I don't like the fact that you're both good looking. Gary, you are a better looking man than me. I've seen your book, and you are a handsome devil, my friend. But I appreciate the comments, dude. Thank you, man. Alex says, love it. So simple. Gillian says, thank you for that. Midge, show us another card thing. I'm really into this little card mentalism jam.
Oh, you know what? I can show you something else that I wouldn't mind explaining if it hits. And if it doesn't hit, we just cut the stream and just leave.
Okay, that's a deal.
Do me a favor, can you just show me that all the cards are there? Or if they're not in any particular order?
I don't think so. They're not in like stack
enough.
or anything.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. We're gonna try this. Don't do anything just yet, but you can obviously overhand. Correct?
Wait a minute. I think there's some. Is there any cards missing to you? Here.
No. That looks full.
Sorry. All right. Okay.
So, do me a favor. Hold the deck so everyone can see the thing on screen.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to overhand shuffle, and mid the shuffle, you're going to stop. Look at the cards that you stopped on, so the bottom of both piles, and then shuffle them back in together. Do you mind if you do that? Yeah. Okay. So just stop anywhere. Yeah. Look at both.
Okay.
Shuffle the cards back in together.
I'm making sure you can't see the cards. All right.
Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of these values was higher than the other. Just general statement, correct?
Yeah.
Do you mind if we go for the higher value? Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
If this is a red card, think of something hot like fire.
Okay.
And if it was a black card, something cold like my mother's heart.
Okay.
And just imagine seeing the suit that you have, whatever suit it happens to be.
Okay.
Perfect. And do us a favor, just think about if it's like, for example, the ace of spades, you'd think of like one single ace or one single spade. If it was the two of spades, it would be two spades or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Can you do the same for whatever card you're thinking of? It's fine. It's fine. But I think I already have it. What was your card?
Queen of Diamonds.
Like that?
Don't tell me you were able to get both the cards.
No, not both of them.
Oh. That's good, man. Wait, show me your deck.
Sorry?
Show me you got a full deck.
This is missing one or two cards. I don't remember where.
Hold it back a bit. I couldn't see. Okay. Now quickly stop.
Oh.
Shuffle. Stop.
Yeah.
Look at both piles.
Yeah.
And then shuffle it all back in. Together.
Oh, this is so messy.
Right. So I should know both those cards you're thinking of now. Would that right?
You can know both of those cards, yeah.
Right. This is really good. I've never seen this before.
Have you not? Like
so there's the eight of clubs and ace of hearts, right?
Ace of hearts, ace of spades.
Oh. I must have missed one. But this is really cool though.
Yeah, I'll teach it if anyone's interested in learning it. It's a really simple thing. So I don't know if people want to like the video and just say yes or something. I don't know, but
Sav says man like Midge.
Yeah. I miss Sav. I haven't spoken to him in ages because he never replies.
Oh. You could be Sav's dad.
I know. That's the problem.
I miss Sav. I haven't seen him for fucking ages. I thought he'd be at Blackpool. How are you, Sav?
I thought he would be, but I think he was gigging all that weekend, so fair play to him. Get the money.
Teach it. Everyone say teach it, please. What's up?
Okay, so this... To give you a background, I've been obsessed with getting members of the audience to force themselves cards, and it's been my longest obsession ever. But here's how this works. It's a very simple idea. In real life, you just need to peek the bottom card because what they're going to do is force themselves the bottom card, okay? So, for instance, if you want to go through the deck of cards, you can, and then just pull a high value card to the base of it, so at the bottom of the deck. Or if you want to do it intuitively, like just mid effect, you can. That's fine by me. But what you're going to ask the spectator to do, and this is very simple, is to shuffle the deck and stop somewhere mid-shuffle. They can't shuffle twice. They have to shuffle it just the one time. But what's really impressive about it is if you turn over the cards, one of them is going to be the bottom half of the deck and one of them is going to be the middle pile. So just to show you quickly, the King of Clubs will be the force card. As they're shuffling, and if they stop and look at both cards, one card is going to be the King of Clubs and one of them is going to be a random card. The reason you want to have, if you're going to force it this way, the King of Clubs, is because then you can ask the question, so one of these is a higher value than the other, correct? It's just a general way it might work. If they say yes, you know that you can hit on the King of Clubs. If they say no, it means that they're either the same value or an ace. Some people would consider an ace higher than a king. So you now have multiple outs for it. But that's the basic idea, is that when they shuffle, it's basically an overhand version of a Hindu shuffle that they do to themselves, is a very simple way of doing it. So instead of Hindu shuffling like that, and then they look at the card, it's going to be shuffling like that, and they look at both cards. But the reason you ask them to have both cards is you want to give that illusion that it could have gone either way. You could have chosen one or the other. But basically with that, you have a force that you can do with pretty much any deck of cards. You can use any card as well if you want to set it up that way. But the important thing is, don't let them shuffle twice. They can only do it the one time. It's very important that they only do it once.
Yeah, I thought, because I realized, I was like, oh shit, I thought I'd screwed you up a little bit.
No.
Daniel Adamovich says, I think I said his name right. I hope I said your name right, Daniel. If they shuffle one card at the start and you have peeked it too, you know both cards instantly.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that whole idea was just there because I wanted a way of getting a spectator to shuffle themselves and force themselves a card. Because, like, you know, you can do a classic force and everything. I can't. I assume you can.
I can't. I really can't classic force to save my life.
But yeah, so that's the way that works. It's a very simple force, but I just created it so I wanted them to be able to shuffle themselves and force themselves a card. And in the case of doing whatever effect you might be doing, it also hides the back design when you use that particular shuffle.
Yeah.
So you might have a red card in a blue deck if that's really something you're after, or a double facer or something like that. You can. You could.
It's really good. It's really interesting because if you think about that, like if you take it away from this session,
yeah.
If as long as you've peeked the card, you could have, if you could give the clear instructions beforehand and then say, like, I'm gonna ask you to go out of the room and I'll have you. What I want you to do is shuffle the deck like I've just showed you, and stop halfway through and look at both cards, remember them both, and then shuffle them back together. Just framing it as a bigger piece and drawing it out, because what it's basically a really powerful force that feels very fair from the middle of the shuffle deck. To reframe that at the end, then okay, so come back in. Listen, you took the deck outside, you shuffled it, you stopped halfway through a shuffle, you thought of any two cards in that deck, and then you shuffled them in. Is there any way I could know what card it is that you're thinking of? At that point, that is really, really, really powerful.
Like it's like this. Just to touch on, just for sake of completion, I just want to touch on this force a tiny bit more. If you want to do this without any setup, the way I would generally show it is shuffle the deck, and the way you're going to get the peek is as you're explaining how this works, right? You're not peeking that card. When you hand them the deck, you're peeking the card, because obviously if we go over the shoulder a tiny bit, it's shuffle, 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 just explaining the trick. Just take the cards and just give them a shuffle. But clear as day, I know what that card is.
Yeah.
And then if you want to shuffle or you want to explain, or let's say we're going to force the 9 of diamonds for that reason.
9 of clubs.
9 of clubs, sorry. literally all you have to do is do this old move. Everyone's familiar with it, of like overhand and keeping the one card back.
Yeah.
So you're still legitimately shuffling the card. Shuffling the deck while maintaining one card. So it's the easiest thing. But I like the aesthetic. Like it feels very fair and it feels very clean. I've not touched the deck.
Yeah.
I've not shuffled the deck. I've only asked you to think about it, so it's not even as if the deck could be marked and I could read it. You know, those sort of things. I like that aesthetic of being so clean.
I think sometimes it's important to like call back to those points that are integral to why you're using that method.
Yeah.
Right. So like the whole reason, because you could do any force, but the reason you're using that force is because it's in their hands, it's in the middle of the shuffle. It's very, very interesting. Gary Sumter's got a fucking great comment. Says, when we first talked, Midge, you were a video production guy that I thought had a teeny tiny interest in Magic. Now you're making Darren Brown look like your biatch. Amazing stuff.
Dude, Darren is miles ahead of pretty much everyone on it.
Darren's not of this land. Let me show you one more thing, because I think I'm gonna clock it off soon. It's at the hour 30 mark. I don't know if you guys want to keep going, but it's Sunday and it's nice weather. So, but let me show you one more thing. This isn't set up in any way.
King OK performed it for my dad and got both cards.
Wow!
Simple.
People going out
it's
here.
Super simple.
All right, let me show you this one quick thing. And just to go, like this is not set up.
No, nothing that we're like for real.
Well, I'm gonna teach you anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter because you guys are gonna see how it works.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm literally gonna go hell for leather through the deck, but just say stop whenever you like.
Stop.
One of these? What do you want?
The one in your hand.
This one in my hand.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to look away so you can see I'm not looking at it, but remember that card?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Is that on top of the deck?
Yeah.
Is that on top of the deck?
Yeah. You're so far so good.
I don't want these to go out of shot. Okay. Alright, this may have gone tits up, but it's all good. I'm trying to be fair.
So,
alright.
I screwed up plenty tonight.
I'm going to try and keep these in shot. I would need 2 spectators at this point to think of 2 playing cards, but there's only one of you. So play the part of 2 people. Think of 1 low value card and think of 1 high value card. And name them out loud.
I'm thinking of the Queen of Diamonds and the 4 of Spades.
The Queen of Diamonds and the 4 of Spades.
Yeah.
You want to change your mind?
No.
Okay, so what would that be in a game of blackjack?
In the game of blackjack, that would be a 14.
14. Cool. All right. I'm gonna try and do this for everyone at home. Am I in shot? I can't see if I'm in shot on OBS.
No, you're clean. You're good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. For the first time, what was your card?
3 of clubs.
Fuck.
Did you get it? Part of me was like, you didn't get it. No. See, I like that a lot as well.
Just
like it's so there you go. Like there's loads of ways of forcing and how it can be applied to mentalism. I think
if you guys want to learn that, let me know, and if not, we'll just hang out for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm enjoying. I love the Sunday sessions. Even when I'm just watching them, like I make time for them. They're chill. They're nice. It's what I want.
It's what I missed, man. It's the only reason. Like I'm not like a live streamer dude. Like it's not my jam. But
yeah,
and it's hard to pin me down to like chat. Me and Gary spoke in the week for like 3 hours on Skype, and that's not a me thing to do. Like you know that you can pin me down for like 10 minutes every 2 weeks.
I think that's about right, yeah. If we don't book time to actually have to ourselves and chat, 10 minutes, 2 weeks, sounds about right.
I'd like to know if anyone was fooled by that trick. I'll happily teach it, but I want to know if anyone was fooled by it.
Daniel, Adam, I can't pronounce his name. I'm butchering it.
Daniel Adamovich.
Is asking, do you guys have any tips on the business side of Magic? And it depends on which side of business.
business, like for me, it was is the industry like product for me.
Yeah, like for me, it's videoing. Like how do you video certain effects to make trailers and tutorials, and that's the side Lloyd and I are on more so than gigging, if that's your question.
Okay, so a lot of people are fooled and they want me to teach it. All right, I'm interested because I have never taught this before. So I'm interested to hear what you guys' thoughts are after it, because I might do something more with it in terms of just like, I might just keep it in my arsenal more. So I'll tell you a bit of history on it. I came up with this effect in the summer and I sent it to like Christy and Grace and the boys, and I was like, hey, check this out. I was so hyped by how fooling it was. And then I found out there was a similar trick by Paul Wilson called Randall Flag. And even though my method is different to his, it was felt way too similar. And it basically relied on them choosing cards, and the card, they would pick a card that would get lost into the deck, and they would choose multiple cards, and those multiple cards would add up to the position. And it was really good. Different method to the one I had, but at the core, the same principle was at play. And I was really bummed by it because I thought this trick that I had, and I filmed it and I showed people, and it would fool me half the time. But then I seen the Paul Wilson version, and I was like, it's too close. And then after like sitting on it, I realized that I could do it without any cards being chosen, apart from the main card, but without them actually selecting any cards in the deck, and just have people just name 2 random cards, and it would work, and it would feel way cleaner, way fairer, and it would fool like this. So I'll show you all the method, and it's scary how. Do you know the method to this full image?
I don't want to say anything out loud because you never showed this to me, but I don't want to say anything out
loud.
For fear of actually
only because I'll have you name 2 different cards. Yeah. Well, before we begin, then, just so you can play the part of everyone at home to see, and I'll show you what I would do in trouble. But again, two laymen, so name a low value card and name a high value card.
Yeah.
So name them now before we begin.
Let's say I'm going to do the 2 of hearts and the Jack of diamonds.
Perfect. So that's a 2 of hearts, Jack of diamonds. So I'll show everyone the method to the trick, and I'll show you then how that works as well. So where's my screen? All right. So before I begin, shuffle deck, and you're going to shuffle 13 cards off. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is 12, 1, right? So it's 4 3s and a 1, which gives you 13 cards as a packet here. And it's always 13 cards at the bottom. And then you're going to drop down cards like this really fairly, have them say stop anywhere they like. Wherever they say stop, you'll take their card out, deal to the break, and drop off. So I've got these 13 cards here. Their card goes down into the 14th position. And I'll drop these all on the floor really badly.
It's an impromptu vanish. That's what that is, Lloyd.
Exactly.
Let's play the game. Play the game.
And just try to make it look more fair, right? But then basically it gets lost 14th into the deck, right? So that 9 of spades, I leave it face up, is 14th down. I'll do it one more time just so you can all see. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's 13 cards. I go through. We'll leave it face up this time. So say stop. They say stop. They take it out. I drop these. That goes there. And now that looks super fair. Super duper clean. And the card is 14th down. I always place it 14th. So in the first case, you named the 4 of spades and the Queen of diamonds or something, right?
Yes.
Which, if you add those 2 values up, that comes to 16. But I said, what's that in a game of blackjack?
In blackjack. Yeah.
Because in blackjack, the court cards are always 10 and the values are 4. Everyone knows that. And if they don't know it, you just tell them. Like, you can say, in blackjack, court cards are 10, you know. Yeah. So that's a perfect hit. The only time it won't hit is if they name a king, and I'll show you exactly what happens then. And if you all want to go back in the live stream, I accidentally put Midge's card 13th, because when you wanted the card in my hand, I'd put an extra card down. So I did a secret move. I think some of you may have spotted it. No one's mentioned it in the comments, but I actually did a false deal for the 3rd card in that deal, and that's what I do when they name a value too high. So go back and watch. You'll see I actually don't deal the 3rd card, or 3rd or 4th card. But
I didn't notice that at all. At all. I didn't notice
I went
that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But because I didn't
Nope.
spread them, you
Yeah.
won't notice. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, right. Anyway, so the card's still 14th, and you named in the first case Queen and 4. So I said
Yeah.
in blackjack, that's 14. So that was a perfect hit. The problem was,
Yeah.
I wanted a deal like this as well, but it was actually 13th because I screwed up. In this
Okay.
scenario, you named the Jack and the 2.
Yeah.
Right, which is 13. So in this case, I deal 13 cards. So there's, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and I know their cards 14.
The next one down, yeah.
The basic principle is that I realized by, and even when there is 2 spectators, I say this, I say, I want you to both think of a card, but to make sure you're both thinking of very different cards from each other, you name a small card, you name a high card. And that forces them. So people, and it's like, I always imagine it why, but I imagine it like soap on a finger when you put it into water. They try and get really far away from each other. So the person who's thinking of a low card will try really hard to go for like a 2 or a 3 or a 4. No one goes for 5. And the person thinking of a high card will go between 10 and king. So if you look at all the outs for that, well, the highest that it can be is king and a 4, right? Which in a game of blackjack is 14. No one thinks of 5. If they think of a 2 and 10, that's 12. That's the worst case scenario, right? Because Jack is perfect. If they name 12, all I do is this. I either deal down and do a double, or I'll literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And if you look, I should have 11 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I just literally, with no skill, I just dealt over 2 as 1, because there's a pile of cards here and borders moving. There's a load of borders moving here, and I just do that for one of the cards. And if you notice, that was just 2. So I push over, and I'm so close, there's not even any time to see that that's 2 cards. And I'm just ditching 1. And if there's ever a scenario when it's way too high, and they name like a 5 and a king, and I need to do a false deal like I did earlier, I deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I just don't stop my rhythm. My rhythm remains the same. So so if I want to deal 6 as 7, or 7 as 6, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, right? Let me know what you guys think of that. I love performing it, and the idea of just having a card placed in the 14th position, then just saying to people, name 2 different cards, but make them very opposite, one small, one big. That feels to me so fair. And what I love more about this whole trick is, and I talk about this so often, is that I love finding out methods have been done before. I love that gut-wrenching feeling of finding out something that you're really proud and happy with has been done. Because I've always been the type that I use it as like, right, well, now I have to find a better method. And when you do, everything in Magic's been done before, right? I'm sure this has been done before. I can't
100%.
find this. But when you do get forced, or for reasons unknown, make yourself have to push beyond what the current best version is, then I would never have come up with that idea without being stopped in my tracks. Do you know what I mean? Without finding out that it had been done before, I would never have gone further. And now what I have is something I'm really excited about, because I love doing it. So I'd love to know what you guys think about it in the comments. And if you generally don't like it, or if you have any questions, then let me know, because everything's a work in progress.
Yeah, I like what you said there.
Close the story.
There was one bit you said about the soap idea, which is a mentalism idea I used to use for psychological forcing, or psychological propolis work, but to cut down steps. Now, the idea that you had, that you just spoke about, I remember talking to Phenom when he had his drawing duplication. It was called Proteus. Was it called? The book?
Yeah, Proteus. Yeah.
Without revealing what the method is, the idea that you just spoke about, I spoke to him with about like 4 or 5 years ago of using that to cut down the method. So, for example,
kind of lost.
Okay, I don't know if I should talk about the method here.
No, but I don't know which part you're referring to in my method.
So the bit where you say you think of something really like you think of like
okay, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, by getting them to both think of opposites.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I did with his routine, and what I ended up doing by just saying that to make it fair, because like doing it with 2 spectators was more challenging, supposedly. So I did that idea with them, and what ended up happening was I cut down the first 3 questions you would have to ask in that methodology.
Wow. Yeah. Great.
And it just feels fair, just to make everything fair. You think of this, and you think of something like that, just so we know you can't cross over. Does that sound fair? Yeah. And then you hit 2. It looks more impossible, but what you've actually done is made it easier by incorporating more people into the method.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's really, really good. Yeah, I can see, and I know Proteus, I know the effect. I actually used to do it for a small period of time. And I know which part you're referring to, and that's very, very good. It's very good.
But like, if you think about the performance of it, now you are so many steps ahead, and you can nail it very quickly. So it even feels a lot less methodological. You get what I mean? I don't want to say
methodologically sound.
Yeah, it just feels more open and free, and I love the idea of doing that. Like, because Germain wrote in, I can't remember if he wrote it in Building Blocks or wrote it in 3510, but he said something absolutely brilliant, and it was something to do with more importantly than something being propless is it should feel propless, and instead of thinking of things as forces, think of them more as invisible restrictions.
Like, being restrictive. What's it called? Restriction without being restrictive. Is that one of the phrases?
Without
that
seeming,
around?
Yeah. Pete Turner used the phrase as well. But I love the idea of, in the context that we've just presented, you think of a hot country, you think of a cold country. That feels very organic, but it also cuts out a lot of work for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that idea of a lot of people, when they think about forces in mentalism, and I know we've discussed it, if instead of thinking about a force that's going to hit on one single playing card all of the time, which is fair, and it's good to aim for that, if we start thinking about, like, let's say, aiming for a group of cards, like all the court cards and having outs for them, or trying to get down to one of 3 outs very quickly, and you just pull out the appropriate outs, I think there's a lot to be said for that methodologically and performance-wise, because it still feels open, clean, and free.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that whole that to me is like going to be the ultimate. It's the next bit that I'm going to work on in mentalism is working on effects or ideas that ultimately result into like 3 outs, and you just have the appropriate outs, just so that the performance looks free and clean. Like, everyone's like, I could have named everything. You know, I really could have done any decision I wanted to make.
Yeah, there's something about tricks with outs. Really, who showed me a great? Chris Congreve showed me a really good trick. It's called Safe, I think it was, and he performed it to me at Blackpool, and like normally magicians tricks with that. It's one of those tricks that's like it's got 4 outs, so that's not exposing the method, because the method's not about it's not ruining the trick. You get it because of the way the outs are designed, and each out doesn't feel like an out, and each out almost like exemplifies the fairness of the effect, which is as opposed to like a lot of tricks with outs just stop at the out. With Chris Congreve's, it almost like each out makes it feel like it could only have ever been that one, and it sort of extrapolates it. And when I watched it live, I was like, holy shit, this is like, I was really fooled. And it fooled me because I knew the basic outline of the method before going into it, but then when I watched it, it screwed me up, and I thought to myself, going away from it, like, fuck man, like, that's powerful and fooling to me as a magician that knew the method going in.
Mm-hmm.
Going into that effect, I knew the method. And coming out the other side of it, I was still impressed and half like, what? And imagine to a layman experiencing that then. So you think, like, if that's what's happening to us, like to a layman, they don't need any more explanation. They don't need to be convinced. If they don't believe after seeing magic like that, you know, because out's such a powerful force to be reckoned with in the realm of mentalism, then there's nothing much more you can do to convince them that what you're doing is real.
Well, that's why I like D. Christopher's Shadow Wallet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can talk about what it. Can I say what's inside?
I think it says in the ad copy that you can force the court cards, right, or something.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, it's when you buy the wallet, it's got an index in the wallet that has each court card in it.
Yeah.
Right. And I just love that idea because all I have to do is equivocate you off of the number cards.
Equivoke or equivocate?
Die. I'm not having this discussion again. But basically, you just have to get them off of the number cards, and then you have, all of the court cards as outs. But from then on, what you can do, and this is why I think ranging and nailing on an out is so good, is now I can make you choose everything. You're really convinced that every choice is free and every choice is the one you want to make.
Yeah.
And then I have all the court cards.
So
it doesn't matter what court card you tell me.
I haven't watched the full download for the Shadow Wallet yet. Not the full. I haven't watched the download for it. When it comes to they've nailed the court card, do you just steal it out into finger palm, or do you have them go in the wallet? Do you go in the wallet and take it out?
I go to the wallet and take it out. So I actually have it here.
Ooh, baby.
So what I do is, like, let's say you're on a red queen, queen of diamonds, queen of hearts. At that point, I actually take the card back out and I have it folded in front of me, in front of everyone.
Oh, can you perform the routine to me?
Yeah, sure. Let me just put this back. So in a deck of cards, you know that you have number cards and picture cards, correct?
Correct.
If I were to deal some to the table into two different piles, and you were to instinctively go for one of those piles,
pictures.
Which one would you? You'd go for the pictures?
Yeah.
Imagine now that in the picture cards you have all of the jacks into one pile, all of the queens into one pile, all of the kings into another pile.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to only select one of those piles, and we will destroy the other two. And you can change your mind if you want as well. That's
jacks.
You want to keep the jacks?
Keep the jacks.
And do you have a preference for red or black?
I like the red jacks.
The red jacks? So in the jacks, obviously you would know yourself that they are hearts and diamonds, correct?
Correct.
I have one card here. Nothing in the hands. Tell me, what's your choice? Jack of hearts or Jack of diamonds?
Hearts. Whoa! Nice.
Do you know the method to this?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, okay. I loved it. Like when I saw these, I was instantly like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!"
So good. How often have you performed that for real laymen?
Huh?
How often have you performed that? Is real layman a real word? How often have you just performed that? I meant to say.
I don't know how often they would perform it, but I perform it every single time I go out or every time I'm with my friends. Because most of my friends are comedians, so we go out to one of their gigs, and it's like, "Oh, what do you do? Comedy, magician. Can you show me a trick?" Actually, yeah, I always carry around one card in my wallet, and I love the fact that I genuinely have that in my wallet to go at all times.
Wow.
I know people say, "I never leave home without it." Listen, Lloyd, I can't leave home without it. It's legitimately my wallet. This isn't a spiel. This is an ad copy. It's actually my wallet. So I can't leave home without a really amazing trick.
Stay there. Well, you keep talking. I think I have it.
So, in case nobody knows, Lloyd has a massive addiction to chocolate.
Not
I
anymore.
think that's where we should take this conversation away from mentalism and into chocolate. I can even tell you what his favorite chocolate is at the moment, because we've had like a 20-minute discussion. About
Wait. What is my favorite chocolate?
At the moment, it's peanut butter Kit Kats.
It is peanut butter Kit Kats.
Yeah, we had a massive conversation about this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's totally true. It is.
It was legitimately 20 minutes of him talking about how much he likes peanut butter Kit Kats.
And I like those seashell chocolates. The thing is, I'm on such a health kick.
Yeah, man, you're doing really well with it. Keep at it. Stop texting your wife to pick you up.
I'm getting my shadow wallet out.
But yeah, D legitimately D really hit the mark on this one. Wow. I really like this. Like, for real, I'm not trying to plug anything. I don't make any money out of this, but this I actually really like.
I'm actually gonna go and perform this on the wife test, I think.
Oh my god.
With this piece of plastic, I just take the label off this, right?
Yeah, you don't even need the piece of plastic. Truth be told, it'll work without the piece of plastic.
Yeah, no, I mean
the peak section of the peak wallet will work without the plastic. Even Louis Laval said it in the tutorial that he doesn't even include it in his wallet.
Okay, cool.
So, because all it is just a window.
Okay, great.
But I love it. Like, I think, and it's really light and thin as well. You can't carry much cash in there, but it's fine. I don't carry cash anyway.
I don't carry a wallet, to be honest.
Yeah.
What have I done wrong here?
Ooh, you know what's a really interesting idea? And most of you would have, I think, some of these coins. If you get replica Morgan dollars, or, half dollars or whatever, a lot of them use the same template. So if they're just replicas, they all have the same date on them each time.
And then with these, so I just fold these up?
Yeah, you fold them up into quarters and divide them into red cards and black cards, because red go on one side of the index, black go on the other side.
Is there a tutorial for this? I'll watch a tutorial, I think. Is it?
It is. Yeah, there is. It's actually Murphy's Magic website is where the tutorial is, actually, when you get the link and everything.
Okay, I'm going to do this. This is so cool.
See, I love them. So just fold them into quarters, divide them into reds and blacks, and then just shove them into the wallet.
Like anyway? So.
I think they recommend doing it in like Jack, Queen, King, or King, Queen, Jack order. Okay. Like ascending or descending order. But it's just because when you actually go to pull the card out, you're looking into the wallet, so you can remember where you put it.
Oh, okay. Through the little... Okay, so...
There's some little pockets in there, yeah. You can see the pockets in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just reds on like the top or bottom side, and then the blacks on the other side. And then in the little sleeves, just do them in an order that you'll remember, like Jack, Queen, King, or King, Queen, Jack, whichever way you want. But it's just so that
I got you. So red, Jack, Queen, King.
Yeah.
I'm gonna test this out on you live then, Mitch.
While you set that up, I want to know what people want to talk about. If there is anything you want to talk about.
Well, I'm gonna have to wrap it up soon but we can talk for another few minutes. Oh shit, what have I done?
Oh, I was only thinking about dead time. So if there's anything somebody wants me to answer that I have knowledge or capable of answering, just ask and we'll see where we go.
Yes. Read some comments out, Mitch.
So, let's see. I'm just going to go back to Gary Stumper. Yeah, that's the Darren
I think his
Brown
name's pronounced
comment.
Sumpter.
I am not good at reading, like at all, which is ironic for a mentalist. So
you're better when you're. I was gonna make some joke about being frosty and then cold reading, but.
That's fine. Let's see. Kevin Lingo Felter. Ian Rowland has a close-up reading book that is awesome. I've not read that cold reading book. I know it's out there and I know it's very highly regarded. I've not read it myself, but I probably should. something. Let's see. King OK said, "Isn't it a timing force?" I think that was with regards to the trick you just explained. The kind of can effect with the card at the 14th position. Fooled. So Daniel asked with regards to the magic advice. Yeah, I was asking about gigging or just how you make money from performing, whether on the street or anything. No pressure if not. Like you said, you guys, it's not your guys' area of expertise. It's not. Like, to be quite honest, with regards to myself at least, my expertise in magic is the video creation side of it. That's where I kind of come in. I just, sometimes I'll get hired to do a trailer or the photos for some stuff and edit it together to make it look cool. And that's the kind of, that I can try and explain how you make money through that, but basically that's my business side of expertise, if that works. And then, what makes maybe a good trailer or a bad trailer or a nice product photo or a bad one. Because at the end of the day, without trying to sound too meta, you are trying to sell a product and get people to like a certain effect and stuff.
Okay, ready, Mitch? So
yes.
So name numbers or pictures?
Pictures.
Okay, and out of the pictures, do you want to keep, which ones do you want, the Jack, Queen or King?
I'll keep the queens.
And do you have a penchant for red queens or black queens?
Black.
And before we finally open up the card that's been in view the entire time from the beginning.
Yeah.
Do you want the clubs or the spades?
Spades.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I need to work on that a lot. I need to fucking watch the download. It's really good.
Why Kevin? Okay, so
I would have to start by saying there's one card in my wallet. I think I'd have to frame it like that for me.
Well, that's what he does in the tutorial. He pulls out any one of the cards and just says, "I have one card in my wallet, but I'm going to keep it there for the moment. But I'll keep the wallet in full view, so nothing funny happened."
Okay.
And then you come back to the card after you've got them to pictures and you know what value they're on and what color. Then once you know the value and the color, that's when you pull out the card. That's the way they taught it.
Cool. What if you could disguise that method in any way by finding out their value and color that they're going to choose beforehand, but then not letting them know that you know that. So when it comes down to them picking queen, no, I'm trying to think. If you could force them onto the color beforehand,
yeah,
so that when it comes time to name, no, that wouldn't work, would it? With the queen, you could already have the card in hand, but then you'd still have to take out either queen.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I want to answer just a few of these questions.
Okay.
Rich Relish asked, "Do you have a preferred billet peak or center tear?" I really like T-Rex by Ron Pink. I think it was on Theory 11 for a center tear, just because it's mechanically very fluent. Billet peak. I do a number of billet peaks, actually, and it depends on what prop I'm using with it. So Shadow Wallet, there's a window, peak, you can do it. And I really like doing the idea of just hold out your hand, and as I put the card or put the wallet in their hand like that, I just drop it and I can actually see what it is. The other one I particularly like is Jamie Dawes had a wallet. I forgot what the wallet, had an envelope, and I forgot what the envelope's called. But it's basically a very switching, a switching envelope where it's got a window on one side, and then if you work the envelope, it's open. So at the beginning of the routine, you could show that the envelope is open, and then do the switch to make kind of like how a quiver pouch works idea. That's another one. And in terms of how simple I like to make things, I'm very bold. So if I do anything, I really like this. If this is your information, literally just go, as you're collecting billets, just turn it over. As you're collecting billets, you can read what it is and then close the deck, and no one ever seems to peek it or spot it. it's just something I really, really enjoy. Louis Laval has a really, really nice one for in the original Art of Knowing, and I really think that's a brilliant routine. So I don't know the names of them, but I can tell you where to find them at least.
Rich Relish says, I think it was called The Seer.
Yes,
Great.
It is. That's exactly the one I'm talking about. Jamie Dawes is The Seer. Amazing envelope. What's my favorite mentalism book? I don't know, because I have a lot of them that I really like.
Top 3 that you have to take with you when Russia invades and you need to go to a desert island.
Okay, top 3. No particular order, but I really, really liked Prism by Max Maven. I think that's an absolute must-read for everyone, because there's some still brilliant material in it, like always. Pretty much anything by Pete Turner I would read, because I like the way he thinks.
So which book?
And Pete Turner's book, like, that's the problem. He is Isabella Star 3, actually. I think that's the one I would read now if you gave me the option.
Not like Bigger Fish or Bigger Fish 2?
Truth be told, I never read Bigger Fish 1 or 2.
Wow.
I never got hold of it. But Isabella Star 3, just because I'm trying to work on a propless birthday divination, and Pete's stuff is always good for inspiration and understanding, ideas. Do you know any good mentalism tricks with a regular watch? I actually don't. And I suppose it depends on what you mean, because nowadays a lot of people have smartwatches, which they would consider regular. I personally don't, but I never incorporate watches into my material. But now that you said that, I have to find one. Been stuck in the car for the past 2 hours. Did I miss anything?
We taught a bunch of any card, any numbers like 20 minutes ago.
No, he didn't miss anything. It's fine.
Yeah,
We've just been here.
We tried some psych forces that fucking died on their ass, so there's that.
Yeah. Do you use marked decks, and what would you recommend? I don't use marked decks.
I do.
But the one I would recommend is the DMC deck. And little hint, if any of you own Germain's Premise and Premonition, there's a routine in there called Silent Communication. I think it's on disc 1. And he uses it with big boards. But if you use a marked deck that you could read easily, you can absolutely do the same routine in a smaller set, and all you have to carry around with you is 4 playing cards that are marked. And it's a brilliant routine, plays big. And would you recommend any apps?
Do you recommend?
None come to mind.
For the record, the marked deck question, the Resurrected V2s are great. They're marked. They're not super easy to read. Well, they are easy to read, but I know from past experience that some people do struggle to read smaller markings. So the markings are really easy to read for me. But if anyone's hard of sight, then I wouldn't say for that. But I mean like the average Joe can read these, no problem. I put out a marked deck, and this is not about plugging it because I don't know if they're sold out or not, but the Moonshine V3s, the Vintage Elixirs, and I purposefully made the markings nice and big on these. I don't know if you can see, but like...
Oh, they were so good.
Yeah, like they're quite obvious to see. So that's on there. And then the other marked deck, like I said, the DMCs are really good marked decks.
Yeah, the only reason I recommended them is because they're easy to see from far away, and when if I'm performing, I want as little to get in my way as possible. So the bigger the markings, the easier they are to read for me, the better. Because
Nemed just said, Penguin P3 marked deck, no better than most, but 7, yeah, fucking good shout. Really good shout. The thing is, if you can have a marked deck like the Penguin one, I'm actually going to go and order some now. If it looks regular, I mean, we're in the UK especially, bicycle decks are not normal in the UK. They're not the most regular playing cards. So you should use you should use marked decks whenever you can. There's no reason not to use a marked deck. You won't get caught. And they give you the upper hand at every possibility. So there's no... It only is... The only thing is the cost, right? So that's the only reason not to. But if you can use a marked deck, use a marked deck.
Yeah.
Alex says, I'm not sure where you can get them. I think you can get them in mostly all stores worldwide or magic shops worldwide. But they're called Moonshine Vintage Elixirs. I think they have a bit of a price tag on them, like $25, but hopefully they're on sale now. But there was only 1,000 ever made, so that's why there's a price tag on it.
So, do you recommend any apps? On a serious note to that question, yeah, Cognito. Like, I'm not just saying that. I think Inject is also up there. But again, the reason I'm recommending them is because those apps solve problems for me. Not like just, when I'm performing, I don't want anything to get in the way. So I don't want to have to search for a marking on a deck or something like that. I want to be surefire, easy, straight away.
Yeah.
But that's for me. So with Cognito, for example, it packs a punch. I even performed it last night to a mate of mine, and I performed it over and over and over again, and he just couldn't figure out how I knew the card beforehand, which of course isn't the method at all, but I love the fact that I got him.
When I was
watching some this mark. Is there any photos of the Penguin Mark deck? Oh yeah, it looks
don't know.
There's the options are $5 a deck for a dozen, blue or red, or you can get 12 decks, 12 mnemonica red, or a blue stripper. What's the differences then?
What do you say? Mnemonica red or a stripper?
You can get a blue stripper.
Yeah.
Or you can get 12 mnemonica. I always thought a blue stripper was somebody who strangled a pole dancer to death. A blue stripper, one blue deck. What does the cue the music? I wonder if the mnemonica ones come in mnemonica order.
They
got to be it, right?
Either that, or they mark for like the card above it or below it or whatever when you cut the cards.
Yeah.
It has to be one of those two ideas.
It's pretty cool that they do a marked stripper deck. That's pretty powerful, actually.
Yeah. Marked stripper deck. Yeah, like this is what I'm loving about Magic recently is we're coming up to a place where you can buy loads of really cool decks of cards that are $5 for a marked deck. And for like a dozen marked decks, that's a lot. Like that's very good price wise.
Yeah, that's actually incredible price.
Yeah, like it would be very tough to make, because even from the business side of things, it would be tough to make that like a competition to that. You know?
Yeah, well, there really isn't. I mean, the only way you could compete is to do like a $4.50 mark deck or something.
Yeah, but even then, you'd be cutting into your margin. But this isn't a business talk.
King OK said, Lloyd, check my Instagram. I think he's sending me a photo of the marked. And okay, so Nemed said the marked and in stack. I assume David M says, I assume I can use Brainwave cards for this effect. I think for the effect, I think he's talking about the shadow wallet to you, Midge. Right? You can use Brainwave cards for this.
I'm not sure if you can use Brainwave cards for this, because the cards that are in here that they provide you with are super thin cards. Because if you were to bend a regular card, it might just blow up your wallet too much.
I don't see a photo, King OK.
Yeah, David Peace Magic. Penguin Mark cards are my everyday deck due to the price. Yeah, at $5 a deck, and they look regular and they're marked, they're very difficult to argue with in terms of why wouldn't they be your everyday deck? You know, like.
And in mnemonica order. Hello.
Yeah, like right out of the box, mnemonica.
Add to cart.
This is how Lloyd's gonna go broke. You're gonna suggest stuff to him and he's gonna buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Literally change.
It's okay. It's for work. That's how you can justify it.
I just write it off for tax reasons. Okay.
What?
Free shipping as well. What?
What are you doing? Are you getting them
Free
from
shipping.
Penguin?
What's $60 in the UK now? What's that, like 45 quid? Let me figure that out.
Yeah, 45, 44.
This is such a good price. £45.52. Yeah.
45, 52, because there's 52 cards in it. No, we're not going down that road.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So that's a picture of the back design. They should have put this on the website.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so easy to read. That's a 10 out of 10 mark deck.
Yeah. Is it too
Yeah.
easy to read? Like, it's right there.
So here's the thing, right? Yeah,
But mind you,
here's the thing.
Yeah. No one's gonna know. What am I on about? I know this.
See, here's the thing, right? If you treat your deck of cards, like let's say you're using a prop,
Yeah.
and the prop is doing the work for you. If you treat it like it's doing the work for you, everyone's going to see that because everyone is paying attention to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you're not treating it like, for example, if you're doing, let's say you have a marked deck of cards and you're performing regular ambitious card that doesn't need any markings, because there's nothing there, there's no reason for them to think it's a marked deck because there's no reason the marking could help you.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same with doing a billet peak or doing anything or switches or whatever. As long as you don't act like it's part of the trick, as far as I'm concerned, it's not.
Well, it's like the old like saying, right? The best false shuffle in the world. Have you ever seen it?
No.
You just chuck the deck on the table and let them hold them.
Yeah.
Like they just like you do like one false cut in a shuffle and just slap them down like that. Like
yeah.
You know, if you don't...
the amount of times I've done something super simple, like have a duplicate in the deck of cards, right? Duplicate, whatever card, hand it to them, ask them to shuffle, and then hand it back. All of a sudden, they seem to have handled a regular deck of cards.
Yeah.
Never asked them to inspect it or anything, but even if the deck, like the easiest way to tell somebody it's not a marked deck, ever, give them the deck of cards to shuffle before you start.
Yeah.
Because then they've just handled what they think, because they're in their minds, it's they wouldn't let me touch the deck of cards if it was special.
You know what I hate is when people say, go ahead and before we begin, I want you to just check out that the deck's normal.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
Like, what the fuck? Like, hang on. Yeah, like, what? Wait a minute. By saying this is a normal deck, as opposed to what?
Yeah, exactly.
What, is it a normal deck? Well, now I know there's something that's not a normal deck. Is it this? Because you're trying to catch me out? Because I know you're going to do a trick. You told me you're a magician. Like, all those little fucking building blocks.
Yeah.
The magicians fuck up for themselves.
I know. And there's an easy way of doing this as well, like as an idea, is instead of handing the deck to one person to shuffle, and you're only asking them to shuffle is, you take about 12 cards, you take about 12 cards, and then they're all shuffling the cards at once. So they're all examining the cards, right? I mean, obviously they're not, but now they've all had a chance to look at the cards. Now they've all had a chance to spot if it's wrong or there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
And then I think another thing is how you direct attention when you're working with cards. I know this was mentalism, but when you're directing attention on the prop, it's where on the prop. Like if I said to you, make sure there's no markings on the card, and it's, for example, the Penguin mark deck, you're going to find them. But if I only ever let you see the faces of the cards, or we're only ever interested in the faces, your attention is constantly going, yeah, the back is cool, but like, what card is that? The face card.
Yeah.
You know? So it's stuff like that. And it's the same with billets, and it's the same with working with an envelope. It's the same with working with an app. As long as you don't frame it as if the method the material is important. Like, as long as you don't frame it like, here, check out this regular deck of cards. Exactly what you said. Hang on a minute. I thought it was a regular deck, but now it's not a regular deck. Whereas if you do something like, let's say, a billet and somebody writes something on a billet, if you get your peak and put it away immediately, and actually I'll teach something that I don't think I was going to, but it's an idea that I've had a while ago. And I don't know if I told you about this, but let's assume for a moment that you wrote down Paris on a billet for me, right? And I peeked it. Okay, that's where we are in the routine. I will never reveal the word Paris to anyone if that's what you wrote down. What I will do instead when I'm revealing is this. Do me a favor, can you imagine what it might be like to be in the city that you're in, Lloyd? What it might be like to hear the things, to see stuff and to smell stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're actually on the side of a busy city, but a busy street. And I think what you're seeing, can you just imagine hearing a language or hearing what the people might speak there? Yeah. And do me a favor, you're also thinking, think about a landmark that you can see. Imagine you stood right below it or right in front of it. And this is quite tall. Actually, this is well taller than average. And it's quite lit, right? Do me a favor, are you thinking of the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I'm saying that is that now if anyone... Yeah, I think you followed this quite quickly.
It's so smart.
So I'm distracting from it. So now that if anyone looks at the billet, it says Paris, but I didn't nail Paris. I nailed what it sounded like, what it smelled like, what language they might have been speaking. The only reason I didn't say French was because like it'll be very obvious.
Yeah.
And then I landed on the landmark that you were actually thinking about instead. Because now I've detracted it slightly. Now I've turned it into a memory reveal or because you could do this as a memory. Just imagine somewhere that you've been before, write it down on a piece of paper, and then now I can walk into, just to go full circle with everything, an almost cold reading memory routine where I nail a landmark or an occasion as opposed to just the thing that they wrote down. Because if you like, there's nothing impressive or cool about saying it Paris. Oh, well, you might have read that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, even if I read that, how do I know that it was
if you
your
look at the two
anniversary?
types of performers, like somebody who may be like a beginner or amateur would say, write down a city in the world, place it into this wallet so I can't see it. Now think about the letters, focus on that place. Okay, you're thinking of Paris, right? Yeah, like that's direct, and it's a hit, and it'll get a reaction. You know, it will get a reaction, but then as opposed to framing it as a memory or a place they've always dreamt to go in, they write down, they put it in there that's locked away, and then you reveal the thoughts, the sounds, the smells, the colors in the air, and then you hone in on like a certain part of that memory, and you never reveal that piece of information. That is way better. That's way more powerful and resonates. Yeah. It feels like real magic compared to just being like, hey, pick a card, find a card.
Yeah, but this is where it comes back like full circle to what we discussed earlier. By doing that, I'm making it about them. Like there's nothing more personal to somebody than their memories, their own subjective human experience of an event or a location or something. So by doing it that way, I've now made it all about you. So again, instead of revealing Paris in this case, if it was like your anniversary and you took her to Paris, that is so core to who you are as a person, as opposed to a city that's, you know, maybe not as core to you, or a city that is like an arbitrary piece of information. I've gone from an arbitrary piece of information very quickly into very specific, important memories to you.
On that note, I think that's a great place to call it a day. It's come full circle. And Mitch, tell everyone where they can find you online.
So
you want to be found.
I'm mostly active on Instagram at mij.dp. So basically my name, just as it is in the Sunday sessions, mij.dp.
I'll put it in the window.
And if you have any questions from this, there you go. Yeah, you put it in the chat. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just drop me a line and I'll do my best to answer them when I have the time to do so, and as full as I can.
What an amazing session. I feel like I've learned for sure. Thank you for teaching everything you have and sharing all your knowledge and information. It's been a blast having you on the show, dude.
Thank you. I've been waiting for this. Like I'm because again, I've been tuning into these since the start. So like the fact that the roles are reversed and I'm here now, I'm like, oh my god.
I kind of sent out the bat signal to you and was like, want to be on the show? Like an hour before we went live as well.
Yeah, like literally just like, yeah, do you want to be on the show? An hour before, and I'm like, oh god. And then we were chatting 10 minutes before we went live, and I was like, I'm so nervous about this, and it feels so odd.
Well, I know you're a big fan of the show, and we were good friends, and I wanted to have you asked about.
Did you say we are or we were?
No, we are good friends, yeah. We're boys. You're my boy Blue. Yeah, so we got some more guests coming up in the coming weeks. I'd love to get Rich Relish on here when we
yes,
he's free.
That would be cool.
And some other people. Like see Edwin Todd, loved it, guys. Thanks, Edwin. You're my boy Blue. In the chat.
Yeah, I hope this was helpful for everyone actually, because I feel like I ramble sometimes, but I feel like could have been helpful. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, if anyone's ever interested in coming on the show, I know I have a lot of guests lined up for the coming weeks, and there's actually quite a lot of people asking to come on as well, which is flattering. But do let me know, and I'll see what I can work out for schedule wise, and if anybody drops out, then I can replace names and people and things. But give everyone give it up for Midge. Drop some likes on the video to show him some love. Thank you all so much. I'm gonna press end stream. Say goodbye, Midge.
Bye.